All right, welcome back, everyone. We're now recording part 2 of our multi-hour meeting today on ICIC, the intentional city in the clouds that we're co-creating here. And the main point I want to get across right now is we need to find a way to make this attractive from the get-go, right? And that needs to be the focus. Let's get a bunch more people like us and different from us in the room talking about this so that we can co-create it together. And in terms of some of the ideas that I have, I'll just put a couple on the table. One is a very gentle idea and another is kind of a shocking idea. And I'm not proposing that either of them are necessarily great ideas. Yes, we need to go with these, but just to kind of get to prime the pump of getting ideas going of what could it take to make this very attractive and attract people to come to the conversation and keep coming. So first I'll talk with the gentle idea and then the other one that might be kind of jarring. So the gentle idea is that we create a bridge to this city in the clouds, right? And that this bridge, in fact, I'd like to screen share a visual here that'll be very familiar to most of us, probably all of us. And that is images of the Golden Gate Bridge. And because look at how this bridge is often enveloped in clouds. I was born and raised, mostly raised in the San Francisco Bay Area. And so anyway, the Golden Gate Bridge is, I love the bridge. I love walking across the bridge. It really just takes you away. But look at some of these images and imagine that we have an image of a bridge to the city in the clouds, which acknowledges that ICIC is different and that it takes something to get there, right? And what I'm thinking that we can call the bridge is El Puente. El Puente. I happen to be bilingual. I am Hispanic, and I love my favorite culture is Mexican culture, and that's actually a collage of cultures. I lived in Mexico during very formative years of my life, and feel more at home there than I do in the United States. And so to call it El Puente really makes it an invitation, and in its very essence, it's a bridge between cultures, but not just, American, Canadian, British, and the whole Hispanic world, but really a bridge among all peoples. But it's also a bridge to go somewhere. Whereas that ICIC, which in ICIC is an acronym for Intentional City in Clouds, Intentional City in the Clouds. Now, the acronym in Spanish is really cool. It's Ciudad Intencional en las Nubes, CIEN, which spells the word cien, which means 100 in Spanish. And it's just a very nice word, cien. It's one syllable. Now, one of the things I like about ICIC is it also has that when you get there and you really get it, it's like, oh, I see, right? And another thing about Hispanic culture is in our culture, it's really a collage of cultures, kind of like American culture or any other culture, but we have a lot of commonality across all the different Spanish-speaking countries, all the way to Spain. And that is we really get into it with each other. We get connected and we get passionate. And it's not okay that you don't get it. In American culture, we very often say, oh, you don't get it. Well, screw you, piss off. I don't care, whatever. I really don't care. No, in Hispanic culture, we care. And that's why you hear us getting all passionate and everything like that. And so part of El Puente is making the world Hispanic. I don't care who you are. I want you to be Hispanic. My name is Jamin Shively, and I want to recruit you to the Hispanic world. And we meet on El Puente, and we all get Hispanic, and we all, get in each other's business in a very good way. And it matters that you get it. And it's not okay that you don't get it. Right. So anyway, that's kind of part of this gentle, really loving, warm, friendly, because just think of the contrast with Black Lives Matter. I'm going to say the name of that organization with a subtext. Okay. and it might be a little jarring, so just cover your ears if you need to. Black Lives Matter. And F you for ever thinking any different, right? That's kind of the unspoken subtext. With El Puente, it's like, hey, come on in, come into the living room, come into the dining room, let's share a meal together, let's bond, let's become friends. You matter to me, and I want to matter to you, right? So we build a bridge, right? Especially with all the divisiveness that we've got going on. So anyway, that's this kind of gentle approach, this bridge. And I talked it over with one of my Mexican friends who's here very often, Jimena, who lives in Mexico City. She loves it. She loves the idea of the puente. Okay, now I'm going to talk about another thing that I think could make this attractive. And this is a little jarring, so just cover your ears if you need to. In a moment, I'll warn you when we get there. But I want to have an amusement park within ICIC, the intentional city. And I love the name Togetherland, which Brett Warshawski came up with. Brett was on here yesterday for a little bit, or day before rather. And in Togetherland, we would have some rides, but listen to this, the rides would be so transformational that these are rides from which you will never come back. Imagine that as a tagline. Now, what we really mean is you'll never come back the same, you'll come back transformed. And humanity, I want humanity to take these rides and never come back again as individuals. Let's come back together. Let's come back as a unified species. And the first one of those rides that I recommend is the only one with a really jarring name. And it's basically a ride. Yeah, it's a ride that showcases what Professor Guy McPherson has been trying to tell us for years now, that we're in a period of exponential abrupt climate change that will kill us all if we don't stop it. It is that simple. And the name of the ride, and here's the jarring part, I want to give the name of this ride, name it, El Culo del Diablo. El Culo del Diablo, which means the something or other of the devil. You can imagine it's a particular body part of the devil that's not the nicest part of the body, let's put it that way. El Culo del Diablo. A little story, back in the 80s, mid 80s, I have some friends in El Salvador that I would visit quite a bit. And we were about to take this trip to Belize, and we were on a mission. And one of the grandfathers said, to accomplish this, I'll go wherever I have to go, hasta el culo del diablo. And it was just like, wow. And so I want to give it this jarring, wake you up name. It's a ride from which you will never come back. And, we almost make it like the movie The Ring, where it's that horror movie that if you watch this video, you die 7 days later or something like that. But again, it's jarring, but it's time to wake people up, right? So that could be one ride. Now, that ride takes you to El Culo del Diablo, and the next ride takes you back out, which would be the devil's fire extinguisher. See, the devil wants to roast us all with exponential climate change. The devil's fire extinguisher is solar radiation management. And we bring on Dr. Ye Tao of Harvard. Now, for both of these rides, we could do them over and over and over again by having recordings of recorded presentations, which we've already got, of Guy McPherson and Ye Tao, which we did at the first press conference, remember? Awesome presentations. And then we have a conversation afterwards to help people kind of integrate it and really take it in. So we are on our way to El Culo del Diablo. Like it or not, you might as well get a sneak preview of where we're headed. Now let's figure out the way out, and that's the devil's fire extinguisher. We're going to stuff a giant red fire extinguisher up the aforementioned culo, and that's going to solve the problem. And then the third ride would be humanity's oxygen mask, right? Which is food healers, feeding everyone, so that we can liberate humanity from this all-day monopoly game of individual hoarding for individual survival. So those are 3 examples of 3 different rides within this Togetherland, this, the amusement park up in the city in the clouds, intentional city in the clouds. So between El Puente, the amusement park, like, what can we do to make this just so exciting, so enticing, right? Because El Puente is not just a place to get to ICIC, it's also a place to connect with people from the Hispanic world, people who speak Spanish, people from all around the world, different cultures, different languages. And we mix it up and we translate. and we help people connect, and we go on this journey together as a bunch of different people speaking a bunch of different languages from a bunch of different cultures. El Puente. Anyway, those are my examples, but my thesis remains: what do we do to make this attractive and, dare I say, fun, and dare I say, radically transformational, like the rides at the amusement park Togetherland? With that, I'm going to pass the talking feather. And Kate, you had been in the queue. I think you shared what you were going to share. If you have more to share, just let me know. I see Alchemy raising his hand, and Claire. So Alchemy, do you want to? Well, I'm going to pass it to Ananda first so she can integrate. And then we've got Alchemy in the queue, followed by Claire. Take it away, Ananda. And you're on mute, Ananda.
I just said something amazing. I can't wait to see what I say next. Thought I was on mute. I'm just kidding. So I'm even seeing some of our techie guys creating a virtual ride somehow where you go through, you know, a roller coaster ride or something, and you know, make it a game, a virtual game. In fact, even I think someone shared yesterday about an app that's out there that's a game for building a new city. Anyway, the sidetrack. Point is, I love the ideas of promoting our city with several different attractions, one being the amusement park, one being the education center, one being the food exchange center, one being about wellness and healing. You know, when you go through Disneyland, you have the different lands, and what would make it attractive is having various different lands. We've got so many topics. We've got enough topics right here on this show, let alone, you know, if we really open it up and we really get big, there's lots of lands that we can create. And let's make it endless. The idea of Hispanic, that's interesting because we're all pretty much white on this call. No offense to anybody at all, but as we're building our city, I think it's absolutely paramount that we acknowledge and unify lots of cultures, lots of languages, lots of different, you know, cultures. And, you know, one where the El Puente could be one thing we do in Spanish. And another one could be something we do in French. And another was something we do in, you know, Zimbabwe or whatever. I know on my radio show, I work really hard to make sure there's lots of different accents on there. And so, you know, let's just not be about the white people that put together a city. That is not going to work. But I love the idea of including various different cultures and languages. Let's see where that goes. How about we do the next person on the queue?
We've got Alchemy followed by Claire. Alchemy, take it away.
Well, I'll say what I was going to state originally, although Ananda's insight gave me a lot of thought too. But working on the more original precept on, you were talking about how to make it attractive to people, and you also mentioned at one point an idea about gates. It seems to me that like the first gate that would like be a draw to people who, you know, are not Hispanic would be like a proficiency in the language, which would kind of be judged before they moved on to the, you know, the inner parts with the lessons and stuff. And, you know, depending on how that could be like the draw that people would go to for like, you know, lessons. And that's what I was going to say. Although I do admit, like, I did also have the same thought as Miss Reeves about the integration of multiple cultures, not wanting to seem exclusive, but I'm still getting the broader strokes of your idea too. So please, next person can start going.
Thank you, Alchemy. Go ahead, next person.
Claire, yes, go for it.
So when you talked about naming ICIC, I thought of ICCC, Intentional Co-Creative Community, or city, sorry. I don't love the word city, actually. It has so many connotations, you know, but co-creative, intentional co-creative city, I don't know, ICCCIC. I think one of the centers can be an art center, poetry reading center, or storytelling center. Yeah, actually hearing people's stories and witnessing people who have been wounded, like the Native Americans. I witnessed in a documentary called Dawn Land, DAWN Land, in Maine. They had truth and reconciliation circles. And the people who were in those circles from the Native communities were in their 80s, and they were still traumatized, and they never thought they would ever be healed. But in these circles, having been heard and witnessed, they felt a lot better. So that's another purpose of this being in a circle. Because you know what? There's so many people in this. I mean, almost everybody has a trauma of some sort. And if you've ever heard of Thomas Hubel, he works with multi-generational trauma. And that is what keeps perpetuating some of the horrible things that go on in our world, because they're throwing their traumas on people. In fact, our previous president, who has never acknowledged his own inner traumas that he got from his parents, especially his father, he projected onto everybody else. And so to allow people to be witnessed and not judged and to be heard is another real good purpose of circles, you know, circles in the city. CC, another CC. And I see, you know, and I see you, I hear you. That's really an important thing to, I mean, actually just even being here and speaking without feeling embarrassed, because I feel really seen and heard. And it's like, how do I don't even know anybody hardly except Jamin, you know, but I don't feel embarrassed or shy, because you're all really perfect witnesses. And yeah, so I think that's another wonderful purpose for this group. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be so much. Oh, look it, I'm radiating. Where's my sunshine? There's my sunshine. Right there. Hi, sunshine.
Right here, I'll be your sunshine.
Hi, sunshine. Just a little beam of sunshine came in right at that moment. I just think that's amazing. So there's going to be so much. It's going to be fulfilling and overwhelming at the same time. Because if we all unite all these organizations, we're going to depend on our tech brothers and sisters to make sure that things stay coherent. Maybe is that the word I want to say? Here's just a thought I had. So imagine for a minute that we go inside of Google and we learn the back roads of everything they go through to have just a search engine. We'd be overwhelmed. But they make it easy. You just go on there, you type something in, and you get back what you need. You know, we don't know all the research that went into trying to get that onto Google. So in a sense, you know, our city is going to be huge because we're uniting all the change makers. But the technology can make it easy. Somehow, I don't know how. I'm not a techie person in that sense. But yes, and I do agree. We absolutely have to have a big arts department. I don't know why I didn't mention that in my ideas of just examples, but art is way up there. Storytelling, and the fact that we are creating an arena where people can use their voice, get good at using their voice, where they learn to speak succinctly. And we're also creating an arena where people feel deeply heard. And when someone feels deeply heard, I have a whole workshop on this called Deep Listening. And people go, oh, I don't know how to listen. No, you don't actually, because you just interrupted me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying deep listening is how someone feels when you listen deeply to them. And if you're really listening, they will feel connected to you. That's the best gift you can give anybody in the world, rather than being a distracted listener, where you don't feel important, you don't feel empowered, you don't feel loved or cared about. But in deep listening, you're creating an audience that feels loved and cared about and valued and important and connected. And all of those things come from deep listening. So when we're creating a city where people listen to each other and they have the freedom to be able to use their voice without feeling judged, that's a city I want to move to.
I forgot to add one thing.
Go ahead.
I love the idea of multiple languages. I'm crazy about Spanish. I also have a master's in French. I used to teach French, and I speak Thai because I lived in Thailand. So I don't know, too many people speak Thai, but
Well, the idea of having multi-languages says about us from the very beginning that everyone is welcome. And there'll be, there'll be breakout rooms with people who just speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I don't want to be in that room. I mean, if I were learning Spanish, I might, but, I want to be in the room with the elder women's room, the breakout room for that. I want to be in a room where I can understand everybody's accent and that kind of thing. But if we make rooms for everybody, that you can come in and go to any room you want based on your language, your culture, it's just going to give them more opportunity to bond and connect. And then we'll have a plethora, what do they call that? At the end of
plethora.
Plenary. No,
No.
I'm thinking of the name of the ceremony at the end of a conference. A plenary or something like that.
Oh.
It's the main event just at the end. And we can have times when we have the breakout rooms at different languages, and then we can all come on one call sometime and listen to the various people. And I'm sure our tech people can figure out a way to translate for us, because they do it at the UN. Why can't we do it here?
Do you think that we should be called citizens of the world? We're global citizens instead of a city, which is sort of confining, but a global community.
I've always liked the term world citizen.
Me too.
And but there's really something about a city that we've never built before. We've never been in charge of building our own city. And when we think of city, we think of just a metropolis of confused, rushed around people. And anybody would love to be relieved from that type of city. But what we're building, we're co-creating a city that we are developing ourselves based on, the principles of unity and collaboration and co-creation and peace and unity and all that. And so this is by building the city in the clouds first, we're getting practice for building the city on the ground. Because someday we're going to demolish the cities we have, and we're going to recycle all the materials here, and we're all going to move to a new city that makes sense, according to Jacques Fresco, my hero. So it's okay to practice building a city with the people involved first, and then make it come to the ground. By then, people will understand how to build a city. So my personal vote is I like the idea of building a city where no man has gone before, where no one has ever invented a city before based on the needs of humanity, not based on the needs of money or contractors or developers or, you know, whatever all that's all about, politicians. We get to build our own city based on our own parameters. And I don't think it's any accident that we're building this city right in the 40 days of peace after Martin Luther King Day. Just saying. All right, any feedback about what I just said, or anyone else in the queue, please move forward.
Yeah, we've got Kate in the queue, followed by Jamin. Take it away, Kate.
And Kate just wants to say, it feels like a deja vu moment for me in a way. When I popped on last week and met Ananda for the first time, it compelled, that's what made me write to Julie. I get the same feeling because, sister, these things you speak of, I can't reiterate enough, Claire. I think it was Jamin taking a field trip to Humanity Rising where he found Claire. And that these things are already existing. Anyway, the connection field is such a beautiful place where people come through in heart meditations and they have grandmother circles. These things that you're crawling out and looking for in your city in the clouds is right here in the Zoomosphere. So much of this is already in the Zoomosphere. And I feel like we're exploring kind of the same ground. You know, Brother Jamin has been exploring this. How do we bring people together ground? And, you know, and making considerable headway, really, because you see the people that show up on a regular basis and they keep coming back because they hear his wisdom. And then Dr. Rao comes with an entire team. You know, their climate healing team is really almost, you know, Nepal is probably going to be the first country to go vegan, but they're very just solid. And anyway, that was just a couple of things that I had. Always talking circle principles, I think, are healing whenever we use that. And I think we've been trying to utilize talking circle principles with the shared governance model. Always here and keep getting better tips and knowing how to do it better as we learn more. And those were just some thoughts I had that grandmother, some of the things you want in your library city are already happening on the Zoom line at the connection field. 333-108. I better not put it on. Well, you know, they're kind of connectionfielddigest.org. is where the official link is. And they have schedule of things. Like I brought Pam on one day who met Silas Rao, who did the food song from Canada. She does a program every Thursday morning at 9 o'clock called Giving Voice to the Heart. That is absolutely, you know, because I think we're learning, I don't know, from my perspective. See, I say it gets to me and I is so quick that's the difficulty, is learning how to operate in this we space, because, you know, I have my own experiences. I only know me, you know, just like Claire mostly knows Claire. Yeah, I don't know if I'm making any sense there at all, but I think learning to be together is part of just the stage we're in, so to speak. And they're just like, when I think of last week, if it was yesterday, I would give you the link, because Ben Bowler has a weekly meeting once a week with a lot of these unifying the groups that are already out there doing it, grandmother. And I think, well, you know, maybe you need to join one of those meetings, or anyway, take a field trip. And because I guess, because my hesitation is, I hear you saying, bring a couple of your great people, bring some voices. Well, we've been trying to do that, really. You know, I've been asking people to come in here, Jamin. And so I'm like, oh, you know, what is the difference? Anyway, I don't know. I don't know exactly where I'm going. And the other concern I had is I didn't write down all that stuff that Michael Gallego put in the chat before it disappeared on me. But I know he wanted us to explore that more. If anybody could help me with those websites, it would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
pass.
Again, I just want to say that I thought of a role that we need here. We need someone to capture all of this information that comes through, because even if you save the file, the way mine works is it only saves the most recent file. And so I can't go back, or I don't know how to go back. And so we need a person on task. So we've got Jamin running the queue. We've got me doing the facilitating. We need someone that will dedicate themselves to these meetings who's going to capture all of the information and then publish it afterwards. Because they're in the chat, you know, they're in the chat, but that doesn't help me. I can't get back to it. Yeah, so that's a role that we need.
And
As-
honestly, I can't take on any techno role. So it's just really my personal lesson. I know I need to
Yeah.
write these things down when I see him,
Yeah.
especially Michael Gallego. He has such a brilliant mastery of expression, and to be able to be, he's just so relatable. He's so fun.
Mhm.
And anyway, I meant to write those down because I know he asks us to explore more. And as much as I don't want to be in the techno world, when Michael Gallego says it's important, I listen.
It was wonderful having him here. We're just drawing in all the best of the best. That's what we do here. So, Kate, you were talking about in the past up until now, you guys have been working on spreading the word about getting here on this call, and also on this conversation.cc, and it's been wonderful. I'll bet you've drawn in some amazing people. I jump in every once in a while and find some real interesting characters on here. But the thing is this: before now, we never offered them a city with the ticket of no more separation to get in. They didn't have a city. They didn't have something we could build together. So it was someone coming on, expressing what they feel, what they're talking about their thing. But there was no funnel. There was no magnet. It was all just, and it still is. We're having a good time talking around the circle, but now it's time to step into action. And I've got some action steps I want to see happen. But I want to say that everything up until now has been wonderful, but it hasn't had a city to offer people. Who's next, Jamin?
Thank you. Oh, Kate, did you have more to add?
Well, I did hear you speaking about there was an entrance at the gate, that it was some kind of exclusionary gate, that it wasn't open to just everyone. So this is my concern, that all along we've been building Togetherland. So we've kind of been building the city. That was, you know, that's been part of the talk of how do we build this city, you know, and so it has been part of the conversation, grandmother. That has been something that's kind of been offered, is this new world. But agreed, it's another concept. I'll give you that. But just take me to what do I have to be to get into the city?
Okay, go ahead, Jamin.
All right, I happen to be next in the queue, so I'll address that. So there, it's not so much that it's not that we're filtering people out. To the contrary, we're welcoming them in. I just want there to be a welcome place, so that when they get here, it's not just like a website with a bunch of links and some videos from 6 months ago. You know, no, I want there to be real people. And of course, that was the inspiration for the conversation.cc, right? 24/7. And thanks to Marco and Christopher and a bunch of other folks, we're practically 24/7. There's Marco right there.
Yeah. Yay, Marco. We love you, man.
Heck yeah. Oh my goodness. No, Marco and Christopher have just been amazing, as and the whole community. It takes a village, but definitely Marco is number one pillar in that. So I hope that answers your question, Kate. It's that there be a, that, and also, but also the purpose is, imagine, and this is something that we hypothesized and then put into practice with the press conference. And that's the following idea: that before people are willing to listen, they first need to be heard. And so what if we had a welcoming, process, committee, place that you cross the bridge and it's like, okay, here I am in ICIC. And there are a group of people there to welcome you and are happy to see you. And they want to hear, hey, tell us about yourself, right? And, how like there's the idea of a conversation piece, right? So not everyone necessarily likes to be the center of attention. I feel like, but if there's a conversation piece, if there's a conversation where it's like, hey, Jamin, tell us about yourself. Instead, what if it's, hey, Jamin, tell us what you think this ideal intentional city in the clouds should be, right? And that welcoming committee then listens to Jamin talk about what his ideas are and anything else Jamin wants to talk about, and let Jamin really be heard. Let him feel heard and welcomed and really a part of it. And then also, given ideas, well, over here they're doing this and over here they're doing this, and you're welcome to go to any of those places. And now that person is known and their ideas that they speak can be captured and put up, whether on a wiki, a web page, something, some sort of, index or something where they can see, oh, wow, here are my words that I spoke. And now they're up here on this intentional city in the clouds. It's like, now I feel some ownership because what I said matters. It matters so much that it was captured and published, and wow, and then people going through that process of being heard. Number one, they're now known, right? The city now knows that person. Hey, we now know who Jamin is, right? Because he came and he spent some time with us and he shared and this and that. And so people aren't just these anonymous things buzzing around, right? And so, we could even create a form of a social network within the city. And I've long been putting forth the idea of a social network of actual conversations, which spells the acronym SNAC, S-N-A-C, and hence the site Snack Bar, which we still haven't developed, but it's there waiting. Snack Bar, the social network of actual conversations, which could be another really cool place within ICIC, a really great place to hang out at the Snack Bar, meet people, enter into conversations. And so this process of getting known, this process of being heard, this process of what you say being captured and published, that could be, in a sense, the beginning of your passport within ICIC, right? Or something like that. I'm just thinking, what do we do so that people really feel known, heard, and really welcomed? I'll never forget when I spent a lot of years in Mexico and had businesses there and worked for giant Mexican corporations. And anyway, I've had all kinds of adventures there. But this one time when we were building educational computer centers and cyber cafes in Western Mexico, I was invited to this power group meeting of the state of Sinaloa. Each of Mexico's 32 states has a power group. They're not published. You can't find them in a directory, but they're basically the folks who run the show and, own the land and all that stuff. Anyway, so I was invited to this power group luncheon because they saw that I was there, really moving and shaking. And during the whole luncheon, I was just like the center of attention for like the first half of it. And I just was just like, whoa. And I just felt so welcomed and listened to and heard. And my company ended up building a lot of educational computer centers in the state of Sinaloa. And so we just need some very welcoming process, I think, that will just blow people away. Like people will come in there and be heard like they've never been heard before, whether in their own family or in their company or in their school or whatever, right? Let them just be blown away by how heard and welcomed they feel. It's an experience, this feeling, this experience. And anyway, so these are just some of the thoughts that are coming to me as to how we can do this. With that, I'll go on mute and thank you for your listening.
Yeah, Jamin, you really hit on it. You basically just named my whole workshop that I do. I do an experiential process where we demonstrate what it's like to be listened to from a distracted listener. I'm sorry. I thought I turned my phone off, but it keeps squawking at me. I'll turn it off now. Excuse me. In the workshop, people get a real experience of what it's like to be listened to by a distracted listener. And then they get a real experience of what it's like to be listened to by a deep listener. And they come out of the workshop understanding that how you listen gives birth to the people that are talking. And so if we know for sure that just by the way that I choose to listen, I have no control over how anybody else listens. But if I choose to listen in a deep way, I know that that person is feeling connected. And that's how you know they're listening, because you'll feel a connection. Otherwise, somebody's not listening, and it's probably you. So we could do workshops like this when they first come past the gate. We can do a little education on some deep listening exercises and things like that. So what would bring people to our city, and what would bring them back? It'd be active and attractive and diverse and exciting. But the main thing that they're going to come back to is how they felt because they were listened to. That's something that's not common in our world. So like that meeting you were at, you felt so important and listened to and cared about. You wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. And so when people come through across the bridge to our city and they get that same connection and feeling with the warm, welcoming committee, they'll be back and they'll bring their friends. They'll say, wow, you got to go experience this, man. That's the first time I've ever felt heard in a long time. And that's what's going to make it attractive, is the, connection, heart to heart connection. Who's on the queue? And I'm anxious to get into some action steps. Stop talking, start acting. That's where we're at right now.
Beautiful. Kate, I see your hands up. That may have been from before. And that's okay.
It was basically, thank you, brother, for giving almost like a self bio of, it is you that is the presence that makes everybody feel so warm and welcome when they come. I think that you just kind of have this, the ability and the generative listening. We all know about the generative listening. And indeed, that's one of the attributes that, we can shine the light on one another just by listening. Because this old nurse knows how important confession is and how co-opted confession is good for the soul has become. And if we knew, if we knew the scars of another man's heart, we'd all know how blessed we are. So indeed, the capacity to listen definitely is so important, but it's not one of those things you can plan or schedule or say it's going to happen in this room at this time. And I just want to, bring that to awareness that we're in this divine standard time where we have to not think with our heads and our programs that we've done before as much as think with the heart and allow the generative listening and the circle principles to inspire and allow thoughts to grow within the group is what I feel. Thank you for letting me hear you. I just had to say, Jamin, you're so beautiful. You're why everybody feels so welcome.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. You've always made me feel extremely welcome. And Jamin, you help me remember I'm valuable. That's gold to me, because all of us grandmothers on here, we know what it's like to get older and people forget that you're valuable. And all you have to do to wake up all the elders from around the world is give them a little bit of value and give it a little usefulness. And suddenly you have a whole movement on your hand. You will not be able to stop. You need to wake up the elders to their purpose and feeling valued. And that's what you've done for me. I appreciate it very much.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you all so much. And you're just filling my life with so much love and joy and creativity and connection. I think you really hit on something powerful there, Ananda. Claire is waiting to speak, so go for it, Claire. And
Well, I second triple everything that's just been said. And I just remembered, I think I even wrote you that after in that chat room, and you were facilitating, calling on people to speak. And when people spoke, you know, what you liked, you went like that. You know, you supported everybody. And I remember how validating that was and how uplifting and joyful, you know. So I think I wrote you about that. That's probably why I'm attracted to being here. And now I have more people to be attracted to. Ananda and Kate and Roland and Marco and everybody. It's like pretty amazing. Yeah. So it is actually, and I think that's actually what Joe Biden is good at. He lets people feel heard and valuable and worthy, and it doesn't matter where you come from. I think that is a key to that bridge where you're inviting people to come and cross the bridge. Being heard and being valued and feeling loved, and you can look any way or be from anywhere or be whatever culture or language, and yeah, invited in. That's what we need more of. Then the co-creativity and the collaboration just happens all on its own, like it's happening now. It's like, you know, and I want to be on your radio program, Amanda. Ananda. Sometime.
Well, that's an honor.
That'd be so much fun.
I would love to just put your poems and stories on the radio. That would be very awesome. The whole radio show started because I wrote a book and I read it to a few people that were just the common people. Nothing going on upstairs, no lights on, just neighbors that watched the news all the time and thought the only thing happening is Trump, you know. So I read them my story and they became enlightened. They got a light in their eye. And I said, oh, I want to read more of my story. So I created a radio show to read my story on. And the radio show since then has been going crazy. But one thing I haven't done yet is I haven't created a story time section for the radio show. So you just inspired me to get back to that original dream I had. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
I wanted to say something about something someone just so we could offer training to the welcoming committee that's going to be there for when people come across the bridge, so that everyone understands deep listening and they understand the reason they're there is to listen, not to, you know, express their own agenda. But we also need to educate the welcoming committee on informing them of what's going on so they can act like a tour guide and let them know where to go to see a calendar of events. And I know that Udo has got the ability to be able to do that. We need some technical people in here creating a calendar for us, or a showcase or something. But my point was, at this point, was to make sure that whoever volunteers to be a part of the welcoming committee, they go through some training on deep listening.
love it. Love it. Love it. Kate, you have your hand up? Okay.
Well, I just say you can't teach charisma. There's some things you can't teach, sister. Those
That's true.
personality traits that are drawing and endearing to us. And because we're each so individual, those things that speak deeply are so unique to each of us. And then as Michael was talking about discovering our passions earlier, I thought, you know, that's really where our grandmother duties are most effective, is helping the youth discover what their passion really is.
Mhm.
Instead of shoving it down there, you know, allow that to naturally come out and then accentuate and support those things rather than, you know, I'm not going to change the heart of another man. I might compel him to do something that will change, you know, weed the garden of his own heart. But I just don't think that you can, there's some things that just can't be taught or felt or experienced for another, or, you know, done in a group setting. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. You can't, if I could, you know, make everybody have Jamin's amazing capacity to be warm and expound on everyone's natural abilities, man, bottle that, you're a millionaire.
Well, actually, I really appreciate what you're saying. I'd love to hear from Marco whenever Marco is ready, because Marco and Christopher and a number of folks came in a wave through the harmonic convergence. And just to set the table for that, so at the beginning of the conversation back in the summer, there was this big event, this harmonic convergence that, you know, only happens once every few years or something like that in a really big way. And of course, with COVID 2020, you know, it was all online, and they needed a place for a sort of like an after party. So we offered the conversation, and we had dozens of people, at peak maybe a couple of hundred, coming in from the harmonic convergence. And some of them just stuck around because they didn't want the party to end. They didn't want the conference to end. Marco is one of those. Marco, and not to put you on the spot, brother, but if you're ready, and if you're not, no worries. But whenever you're ready, it would be great to hear from you and your experience as, you know, coming in here and saying, wow, and then sticking around. Because what we need is, you know, we need to make this sticky, right? And I'm just looking at the listening, the wonderful listening we have here in this room with Ananda and Claire and Kate and Marco and Sir Roland. And it is really a wonderful place. I think we've got this beautiful critical mass right here, right, that we can build upon with intention. And I think once this gets above a certain size, critical mass, it'll just be like this virtuous cycle. And more people will be coming because it'll simply be the coolest place, the funnest place, the warmest place, the most co-creative place, the most regenerative place, the most loving, caring, listening place in the entire Zoomosphere. Anyway, with that, I thank you all so much, and I'm gonna go on mute. And Marco, I see you moving around there, buddy. So.
Yeah, I was just trying to go a little slow today, trying to get my feet up and all that good stuff. But no, it's absolutely the thing was, I didn't know exactly what to expect the first after party here, and I only kind of saw it by accident out of the corner of my eye. Like, oh, let's see what that's about, you know. And no, you know, Jamin and Peter were so fun to be around, welcoming, that nobody really wanted to leave. I think it was scheduled for 3 hours, 6 to 9, and it, you know, like 10 o'clock, you know, Jamin and Peter were still smiling pretty well. At 10:30, they were looking a little tired. 11 o'clock, they're like, you know, we don't want to spoil the party. It's like, we need some sleep. It's like, if you guys promise not to wreck the place, it's like we can find somebody to be the host. It's like, you guys can stay as long as you want, you know, lock up when you go, you know, all that fun stuff. And I believe that first night we were just still here the next morning, you know,
Wow.
when the conference
Wow.
started again. and that lasted 10 days, and we were here late every night.
Whoa, really?
And then on the 10th day, you know, then we were really bumming because we were like, now we have to, it's over. What are we going to do? Who are we going to talk to? Where are we going to find this many like-minded people? And again, Jamin and Peter are like, well, you don't have to go anywhere. You know, in fact, it would be you know, helpful to, if you want to, you know, stay on as part of our, you know, goal to save, heal, and transform what, you know, life on Earth. Do what you know, use your breakout rooms however you choose, and just, you know. And then I got involved with food healers, and it was just crazy, you know. It's like, why would I go somewhere else? You know, there's so much potential here. And sometimes it's slow going, and sometimes it's a little frustrating, but you know, we've had some pretty shiny moments here, you know, and we're making progress. You know, it's certainly not as fast as we'd like, but we're getting there. And every time we meet, you know, new, you know, the synchronicity express kind of wanders through here, meanders through here, and brings us new passengers and drops them off and lets them visit for a while. And then after that, once they know how to get here, you know, they keep coming back. So I think we're real close to having everybody we need to get the city built. So we got to start doing it. So that,
Yeah. So on that note, what do we need to do right now as our next step to building the city?
I think we need hammocks everywhere. So like, you just,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I've had hammocks in my brain the last couple of days. It's like, I don't know why. I think I need to.
It would be very cool to just be able to talk from a hammock. So what can we do now? We owe it to the world to do something, because the energy's here, the ideas are here, everyone's in you know, in collaboration. Now what? Already, Jamin?
So I've got an idea, which is to first identify, stake out, and then promote some core windows of time every week when we can all be here. And then we know we can count on a critical mass of us being here and having amazing conversations, because then we'll have something that we can invite people to. Hey, on this day, it's from this time to this time. On this day, it's from this time to this time. Take your pick, right? But here it is. And then we just publish, get that out there, and write an email that people can then forward to all their peeps. And then what's interesting is then, in addition to that, we got Marco and Christopher and others keeping the conversation going almost 24/7. So show up anytime, but if you really want to come for an amazing conversation with amazing folks about this co-creation that we're co-creating together, it's right here on these days and these times. And we can talk about specifics for that. I see Kate has something to add. Yes, Kate, sister.
Well, and that all along has been my cry out to people, and the people I brought here is Tuesdays Solution Clubs, Fridays is Food Fridays. You want to meet Dr. Rao, come set, you know, that's kind of my standard, is the Tuesday and Friday shout out. So anything in extension with that would be great with me. Yeah, and I'm always available. I keep, you know, if you call me and say, I need you to run this time, and I've told Marco and everybody, I would be happy to do that.
Bless you. So down that line of scheduling time to build our city, I'd like to call it something catchy, you know, like, you know, the architect's circle of building the city, or something, you know, like really, you know, so here, I'm just, you know, I'm having BFOs, boinkers. It's like, okay. So I'm imagining for a minute that I get an email from my friend Kate. We've been friends for a long time, and she sends me this email, and she says, "Come to the architect. We'd like you to be an architect with us in building a city, and you can come online anytime in these scheduled times. And the topic here on this day is getting all of tech people together in one room. Let's hear what they have to say. The next hour is, here's the artist quarters. We'll be hearing from all the artists about how they want to build a city, always back to the main thing of how to build our city, and stay focused on that. And then we'll have a schedule of times when people can come in, and we can welcome all people in all languages. And if we get, 5 people here to speak Spanish, say, how would you like to have your own breakout room? And here's the topic for the day. I mean, it's real important to listen to people and hear them, but we don't want to just talk. We want to be able to stay focused on our intention. And so we are the ones that kind of, herd the cats into the rooms where, where the structure is not much structure, but we can't afford at this critical time in our history, we can't afford to have people just kind of off talking about the birthday party. We, share a little something about yourself, but now we've got a topic to get back to. We've got action steps to do. We've got things to do. We've got roles for people to assign, and after they feel warmed and welcomed and listened to, and anytime they speak, they always feel listened to, but we need to stay focused on what is the point here. So I would like to come up with some magical, title for inviting people in to help us start building the city, and then schedule out, different topics and make sure it's on a calendar, and then make it duplicatable so people can just slam it out to their email guest friends. And how many people can this hold, Jamin?
Hundreds.
Hun-
I've paid the premium price and everything so that we can hold as many people as we need.
Oh.
And so having hundreds of people come in is a really good problem to have. For me, it's just a signal that we need to create breakout rooms. And with all of your experience, Ananda, I think that's not going to be an issue. It's going to be an opportunity. But I wanted to also interject, if I may, that I think what we could do to address your concern is, hey, we need some focus time to really architect what we're co-creating here. And we also need time to welcome people and for them to be heard. What if we separated, math class from recess, so to speak, right? And I like to speak in analogies, as most of you know very well. How do we, so just have different times for different things. And so really we could break it out essentially into 3 different time zones, 3 different chunks. There's the architecting time, co-creating the intentional city in the clouds. There's the welcome, period, which is much more personal, and we welcome whoever comes, and we get to know each other, etc. And then the 3rd time is just open time, when Marco, Christopher, etc. are here just holding space for whoever comes in the door, because that's part of the magic as well. Is it's a place that's always open. The city that never sleeps, for example. So anyway, those are my thoughts as to your question, to answer your questions, Ananda.
I like that. I like all of them, because if I know for sure I'm coming into an architect meeting, I'm going to be focused on what are we going to be producing here? What are we co-creating? Let's get some roles named. We're on topic here. And if I know I'm coming into a welcoming meeting, I'll know, hey, this is my time for me to connect with these people. I love that. So I won't come into an architect meeting thinking I'm in a welcome meeting and then interrupt the meeting with my story about my cats. It's very important we separate those. And then on the other thing too is like, the open time is how this whole thing came about, because we were just on a phone call, just like throwing out, whoa, what if we could create a whole idea, and then it came into a city, and now it's into a universal city, and oh my God, you know. So I think all three of those are very, very important. Also, I think one thing that to acknowledge all the cultures is a bilingual invitation. Spanish welcome committee will be on such and such a time. French welcome time will be here. You know, whatever. That's what I'm thinking.
Love it. Yes, Claire.
Are you saying that these would be on different days, or are you saying it would be like an hour of this and then the next hour would be something else? Because it's too many days to be available. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I can't do it. And I also am in a different time zone from you. So like I have my ecological group at 6 o'clock on Thursdays. Right now it's 7 o'clock here. And so I don't know what you were planning. Are you planning to
Well,
do
we're
this
not
like
planning
2 or 3
anything yet.
times a week?
Yeah, we're not planning anything yet. We don't have the details down. We're getting the energy of the idea. Now, here's the
Right.
thing. One of the things you guys probably don't know about me, or maybe you do, I'm suspecting you know this, is that I'm a huge manifester. Manifest whatever or whoever it is I need. So here's the thing. I know for a fact, if we make the decisions, if you build it, they will come. If we make the decisions that we're going to have so many architect meetings a week, so many welcome meetings a week, however we decide that, whatever that calendar looks like, we're going to be able to manifest the perfect right gatekeeper for each one of those times. It'll just come, because you know what? We're inviting the world in, and there's so many millions of people that want in this door. The 30 minutes a week could be towards be the welcome committee for the open time discussion. I want to see Marco and Christopher get some relief, you know? So as people come in, you know, we direct them. You know, if you're interested in hosting one of these meetings, put your name in the chat. And then another role that we need, I mentioned earlier, is that someone needs to be catching that chat, because I'm not, I'm facilitating. So my mind's on that. But every meeting we have, we enroll people into helping us, whatever they love to do. You love to do French, Claire, and you know, maybe that's 30 minutes a week for that. We'll find 4 other French speaking people to do the other French classes or whatever it is, but we'll attract who it is and what it is we want if we stay focused and clear. So right now we're just kind of deciding the kind of the infrastructure, and we've come up with 3 of the classes, and I've just mentioned bilingual. I'd like some feedback on that. What do people think about having a bilingual hour?
Already exists.
Yeah.
Well, I like the idea of El Puente. It becomes like a bilingual hour, but with a purpose, with a mission, which is build a bridge between people and a bridge between where we are and where we need to get to, a bridge to the future, a bridge to ICIC, et cetera, et cetera. And by just the name itself, it screams bilingual, you know, and then we just need to, you know, market it as something that's really for all languages, all people, right?
So we're here. I'm here. I'm imagining myself hosting the architect co-creating meeting, and 5 people show up. There's 4 Russians and 2 French and 3 Spanish people, and none of them speak English, and I don't speak any of those languages. So you know, if we have a designated time for the El Puente to come in in Russian with the same purpose as you come in with English. We're here to be architects of co-creating our city, or we're here to welcome you, or we're here to have just open time. But they're segmented off into languages. I just want to make the announcement so loud and clear that we're not all just white people speaking English doing this, you know, from the get-go. Oh, wow, here's an international, you know, international city being formed right now, and they speak my language. I'm going to go there. And then when they get there, they feel all comfortable and welcomed. And then they start buzzing with their ideas, and that's how it's going to grow. That's how it's becoming attractive. It's not because you know English or not. Yeah, Claire.
So I'm just thinking of going back to what Jamin said about Black Lives Matter. And then, you know, the nasty way is, and if you don't believe it, then, you know, F you or whatever. But we could be people who believe in Black Lives Matter in a totally different way to help it go further. We want to attract African Americans. They speak our language, you know, we want to speak their language actually there.
Yeah.
We want to get into their shoes and let them know that they're heard, and not in a way where they have to be, you know, rebellious and resistant and fighting all the time, because it keeps pushing people away. So we want to do it in a different way, in the way you know how to facilitate a group of listeners. So, I mean, I don't know whether we need to have a bilingual group. I think, you know, most of the people who speak French, they also speak English if they're here, and the Spanish speaking, and we can throw in some Spanish words like the puente, but I don't think we necessarily have to, unless we have a lot of people who speak Spanish. I don't think we have to concentrate on having a bilingual hour or something. I think that might be a little excessive at the moment.
So here's a thought I have. In the invitation of, you know, putting this out there, we're going to be clear about when the classes or when the segments are, you know, what we're going to have a kind of our mission statement quoted on there so they can see what we're about, kind of an introductory sentence, and then the times when we're having these different topics covered. And we can simply, in this invitation, we can simply just ask in there if anyone would like to have a section organized in their own language, and what is their language, and would you be willing to facilitate that? So we can ask for the help right from the very beginning. So what I was going to say was I had a really good thought during that process. I think it's important that we wordsmith together the announcement we're going to put out, so we're all in agreement with what we're saying. Everybody gets to wordsmith the introductory letter that goes out to all of our friends about what we're doing.
I love it. And then I will just make that my email, you know, twice a week or whatever to the whole community. Hey, come, this is what we're doing. And as I wrote in yesterday's email, the press conference is now moving to ICIC. And this could be a really valuable tactic, is inviting other communities, including your radio show, for example. You could say, hello, this is, you know, Radio KICIC, right? You know, Future Now Radio, and, you know, something like that. You know, we'll need a website and, you know, whatever else we'll need to build out for the city, a landing place, this Zoom room 24/7, rebrand it, you know, El Puente, ICIC or whatever, right? But basically, you know, just like a good hotel, every towel is monogrammed with the monogram of the hotel, every glass, everything, right? You know, brand everything, you know, ICIC that's in this, and then invite people to come set up shop in our city. You know, just like if you have a business, One time, a friend and I were relocating our business to somewhere in the Midwest, and we didn't know where. We went around from state to state, city to city, and we were wooed. Hey, come. You know, the different cities were attracting us. So let's have that function of welcoming existing meetings, whatever your meeting is that you're hosting or that you're participating in, even if you're not hosting it, consider moving it to ICIC, which in practical terms really means branding it as, you know, having moved. It can be the same Zoom address, same everything. Nothing practically has to change at all, other than you mention ICIC and say we've moved to the intentional city in the clouds. Just an idea. Anyway, I'm passing the talking feather. Loving this because I think we're really honing in. It does take time. So thank you all for being patient and persistent.
So just to kind of recap where we're going with this, an action step would be to take a look at scheduling out several different forums, you want to call them? I don't know, breakout rooms, forums, or topics, or whatever. And we're in agreement with what those forums are, and you know what people are entering. If you're entering into the architects co-creating meeting, it's all about focusing on building our city. If you're entering into the welcome center, please feel free to come in and introduce your idea or your and everything that you are about, and introduce yourself, feel listened to, feel relaxed, get a cup of tea. You're all welcome here. And then the open time is schedule those in interspersed with the architect meetings and the welcome meetings. And so when people come in, they know what topic they're in. I just feel like chatting tonight. I'm just going to go on open time. I don't have really anything to say. I think I'm going to go there. Or, I've got some really good ideas about this whole architect building thing. I'm going there. Or I just need to feel welcome to listen to and loved up. For a while, I'm feeling a little lonely. I think I'll go there and get some warm fuzzies. So people will know where they're going when they come in. And they'll know why. The why is we are here to build a city. I'm going to bet that people in the open time will still come back to this topic of the city.
Absolutely.
They'll talk openly about building the city, and they'll come up with lots of ideas in there just by doing circle talks.
Absolutely.
In fact, we can even say open time for reflection on the city. It's for that purpose. What do you guys think of that?
You don't think we need to explain it's a co-created city, or it's not like a city they've ever heard of? You have to kind of define it a little bit more so they don't think it's a real city.
Yeah, that's why we need to wordsmith our invitation letter together. So
I'm good at editing.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you send over, I'll fix it up.
Well, I really like wordsmithing live on the spot.
Okay.
With words popping out and everyone getting heard, and like I don't know, we magically kind of just came up with the name of this together. Jamin and I and Marco were just brainstorming, and we got into talking about Star Trek or Star Wars for some reason, and then it ended up being, oh, the city in the clouds. Oh, we're in the clouds, and it just kind of happened because we're all in the room. Okay, so it looks like Jamin and Marco are out for the moment. It's just us girls here.
I still think it's a ICCC. IC. Intentional co-creative city. So is the IC in the clouds? Is that what the other IC is?
Yeah, intentional city in the clouds. And then it creates that really fun acronym, IC. I see. I
Yeah,
see.
and in the
You know,
very first, and in the introductory paragraph, when we introduce them, what we're doing, we will clearly say we're co-creating.
Okay.
We're co-creating an architecture, or all those kinds of words will be in our description of our invitation. What time is it? Central
It-
time, let me see.
it's 6:15 Central Time.
Oh. I'll bet my community members are waiting for dinner with me.
Hmm.
Well, I'm going to hold my word. We're going to leave here with an action step before we go, because that's what we do here. We talk and then we act. I like where we're going. First of all, I would like Jamin to rebrand the press release into the ICIC. It's really easy for you to do. And then I think, well, there's 4 of us here voting, but let's do a thumbs up if you agree on the 3 topics that we'll be introducing in different forums. One is the architecture of co-creating. You guys got that one okay? And then the welcome committee one. Good thumbs up for that. Are you clear on that?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And Jamin?
Yeah, but the first one you said the architecture of co-creating.
Oh, I'm just using a bunch of words in that space to get the feeling for, we're here to co-create and have architects building the city. I don't
We
know
could just call it
exactly.
the architecture of the intentional city, the architecture of ICIC, the architecture of the intentional city in the clouds,
How about the architects?
or the architecting, or the architect sounds like an exclusive club that I can't join. But if we say the architecture or the architecting makes it a verb, makes it an action. Architecting the ICIC.
Okay, and like I said, in our first sentence, in our introductory system, we will use the word co-creating in there, Claire. But that paragraph hasn't come quite together yet, but we're just trying to get a consensus on the architecting of the ICIC is the purpose of that meeting. And then the welcome part, let's get creative with the title of that.
What about simply El Puente? And
in number 2, where we're saying welcome
for the welcoming thing, because the thing is, if we say, hey, come to the welcoming thing, I feel like I'm going to some multi-level marketing meeting that I'll never be able to get out of, right? So you don't want to be too explicit, right? And
there's a lot of people that don't know what El Puente is. That might.
Well, and that's part of the magic, because then people get to explain, and then they feel smart in explaining what it is, right?
But that's before we get them in the room.
Yeah, before we get them in the room, they need to be enticed, and I think that can be part of the enticing. And we can also get a whole bunch of Spanish speakers in here, because having had a number of guests from time to time from the Spanish-speaking world and gone to events in that world, it feels way more fragmented there than this ultra fragmented gringo world that we've got going on here. So I think there's huge opportunity for us to essentially be the Simón Bolívar of the Hispanic world, and just really, unite them and get them here. With a name like El Puente, they will come. I mean,
well, how about we do El Puente welcome?
Something to do with deep listening.
Oh, yeah. Experience deep listening in El Puente.
El Puente, we could just say El Puente, and then the subtext could be deep listening.
I like
Or they're taking a bridge to experiencing deep listening.
Yeah, I like that. It's a real nice blend of both.
That's right. El Puente, the bridge to deep listening.
There we go.
El Puente.
There we go.
Because then the translation is right there in the title.
Yeah.
El Puente, the bridge to deep listening.
Good.
And that way all the Spanish speakers will feel welcome.
All right, that's 2. And then the open time, let's get creative with that.
We've been calling it the campfire. And let's see, we've also from time to time, some people have been calling it the conversation cafe. So let's just play with it. And I know Marco will have his finger on the pulse as well. You know, go ahead, Marco.
Yeah, I was just, that was just the sound of gears grinding.
Gotcha.
Well, we talked about it being an open time, but with a bit of a focus on it, an open time to reflect on ideas for the city. Is that chopping people off from just wanting to come in and talk?
Yeah,
I mean,
because the thing is, the way it is now with the campfire, a lot of people just like show up in the evening and they just show up
Yeah.
and hang out, and that helps keep the campfire going, just people showing up to hang out. So I think the campfire also, you know,
Can we keep that going?
why not? Let's just call it the campfire, because there's light, there's warmth, there's community, and we're on, and I see Marco's thumb going up. That's a good
Yep.
sign. And also it helps reinforce that we're all on this camping trip, right? And everybody knows when you go on a camping trip, you know, you get all expansive and you relax and you get into nature and all that stuff. So without using a bunch of words, I think the campfire conveys a lot. Anyway, that's just my feeling, but I'm not attached.
So if I were to get an invitation, I would get an invitation that said, oh, they have 3 segments. They have the architecting, ICIC, and then they've got a welcome El Puente, the bridge to deep listing, and then they've just got a campfire time. I think I'll go to the campfire because I just feel like sitting around chatting about anything. The only thing is what we risk at that, the stake at that is that they sit around and they talk about anything and nothing really gets done towards the vision of the city.
But you know, that's okay, because
Okay.
it's also okay to have playtime. You know, it's okay to have
yeah.
time just to hang out and just
Yeah.
be and make friends and share and whatnot.
And there'll be somebody on there that has come to the architect meeting, or it's all in the presentation of the introductory letter. That's the mainest point. The
What about-
introductory letter that we're going to co-create here in a minute
And the
says,
timing?
huh?
I'm just wondering about the timing. Is it 3 different days or is it 1 day?
Well, let's finish that sentence in just a minute.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure we have consensus on 3 different segments of the nude branding called ICIC. And the last one, the campfire, I don't know if I got thumbs up or all the way around on that one. You want to stick with that? 1, 2, I'll go with that. Claire's, what else do you suggest, Claire?
Hang out.
Oh,
You know, it's interesting. For the first few years that we did this, it was on a platform precisely called Google Hangouts,
yeah.
until Google Hangouts shut down. And then we moved over to Zoom, and Zoom is way better technology anyway. So we're much happier on Zoom.
Campfire hangout.
Pardon me?
Campfire hangout.
Campfire hangout. Campfire hangout. I'm wondering if it's kind of too many words, because the campfire, it kind of, you know, everybody knows when you go to a campfire, it's, you know, marshmallows, beer, and maybe someone's passing around a bong on the down low. You know, it says a lot without having to say, oh, you know, we come here to hang out. You know what I'm saying? So less is more when it comes to naming.
Okay. I'm okay with it.
Okay, then we have a consensus on all 3 titles being topics for our new platform. The press release has now become the official ICIC site with 3 different categories. Take, make your choice. Okay, now we could get into talking about dates and times and how long and those kinds of details. But before we do any of that, I want to wordsmith the introductory paragraph together so that by the time we leave this conversation, we've got our introductory paragraph all cemented. We've got the 3 classes that we're, the 3 opportunities that we're having, and we have a schedule. That's what I want to end up with. Is that okay with everybody? Are you willing to hang in there with me until we get to that goal? All right, because when that's done, we're going to feel like, okay, now I can send this email out to my friends because it's clear and defined and organized. Right now, I'm just telling everybody, oh, you should check this out, but they don't, I can't rehearse to them all of the purpose and the, you know, the classes and all that. So are you guys ready to wordsmith?
I wrote a first sentence. You can tell me what you think.
Okay.
You are invited to a revolutionary new co-creation for our global community. A co-creative endeavor for our well, I mean, you can change it, but something about you are invited to a revolutionary or a brand new co-creation for our global or for our global community, something to that effect.
That's great, Claire. Any feedback on that?
Yeah, I think that's awesome, but I would start with, and then maybe that could be the next sentence, but I would start with, we are co-creating a brand new city, an intentional city in the clouds.
Right, that's good.
Here, I'll voice dictate that into the chat.
And
Okay. We are co-creating a whole new city, an intentional city in the clouds.
And you are invited to join to co-create our global community. And you are invited, you are hereby invited.
How about you are cordially invited?
Okay.
how about you are warmly invited to gather with us?
I love it.
I like that. Warmly invited.
To
You
gather.
are warmly invited to gather with us in co-creating ... whatever we say at that point.
Say, record that, will you?
I got it here. I was putting in the chat.
Invited.
You are warmly invited to gather with us in co-creating
This new world.
this new city, this new radically inclusive, intentional city,
Yeah.
which we are calling, I think it's good to name it sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
ICIC.
Yep. Record that.
The caps on intentional city in the clouds. There we go. You are warmly invited to gather with us in co-creating this new city, this radically inclusive intentional city, which we are calling ICIC, the intentional city in the clouds.
Maybe the word virtual in there, because maybe not everybody understands what clouds mean if you're not a techie person.
Well, then we could explain, because even the techies won't know what we're talking about until we make it explicit. So, so we could say here, I'll just voice dictate. Where in the clouds will this city be located? ? In the Zoom in the zoomosphere.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's kind of a, you know, a play on words. Where in the clouds will this city be located? In the zoomosphere.
I like that.
And in fact, we can say, here, let me voice dictate. Before we recreate our cities on the surface of the earth, comma, let us first co-create a new model for cities holistically grounded and rooted in deep listening, comma, sharing, comma, co-creative, regenerative conversation, ... All that needs to be wordsmithed and concept smithed actually before wordsmith. But anyway, you know, it kind of puts in place, hey, before we can recreate our world, right, on the surface of the earth, let us first co-create a new model for, you know, rooted in deep listening, sharing, co-creative, regenerative conversation. You know, something like everything starts with conversation, right? Here, I'm going to voice dictate again. Let us first master the art of conversational co-creation, ... as a necessary precursor to mastering the arts of designing and building a new world. Anyway, but I'm really
I
digging
love
this,
to make it big and then chop it down.
yeah, totally. But I think big aspirational. I mean, go big or go home, right? I think that's why this intentional city is really catching on. And I meant to mention this earlier, that you know we talked about this whole thing about like citizen of the world and all that. That's not a new concept. We need to hit them with something new. And I think an intentional city in the clouds, whoa, you know, that's something new. Everyone's heard about intentional communities, but this is an intentional city. It's like, whoa, it's taking it up to a higher level.
I like that.
So I think big aspirational is gonna take us a long way.
Look back at the sentence that says you are warmly invited to gather with us as if we're already an entity. How about we say you are warmly invited to gather with everyone on the planet who stands for change. You are warmly invited to gather with all of the change makers from around the world. Put that down.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I like it. You are warmly invited to gather with all of the other change makers from around the world.
Right. In our new city. Yeah.
Go ahead.
In this new city, which is located in the zoomosphere. Shorten that.
Co-creating this new city located in the Zoom. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
And then paragraph, period.
Yep.
It's called ICIC.
But you left out the new city. Radically inclusive was a good term that we had in that original one.
Yeah, I like those words, except that they're old right now.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right.
We were talking about new city in the clouds is different than intentional community, radical changes, inclusive, and you know, those things are wonderful words, but they're old right now. You know what I mean? Jamin, do you agree?
Yeah. So you are warmly invited to gather with all of the other change makers from around the world in co-creating this new city in the clouds located in the zoomosphere. It is called ICIC.
the intentional city in the clouds.
A little bit
It was,
wordy
you
still,
know-
but we'll get there.
Sorry.
It's a little bit
What-
wordy yet, but we'll
Yeah.
get
Oh,
there.
yeah. No. We'll get there. Right now, I think it's good just to kind of
Yeah,
put a
throw it
bunch of
out.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can refine it later. Or Claire, if you'd like to edit afterwards, I can email you the whole chunk. if you'd
Okay,
like.
that's good, because I've been trying to write it all down really fast, but I'm sure I missed some.
Yeah.
Yeah,
words.
I'll just email you the whole chat transcript, and then you can edit from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
But the first sentence start with something like, come and gather with us and the rest of the co-creators in our new city called ICIC. It's located in the Zoomosphere. Point blank, really clear, short, sweet.
Come gather with us, the rest of the change makers from around the world.
And our new city called ICIC.
In co-imagining and co-creating a new intentional city in the clouds. ICIC, because then it's all spelled out.
Yeah.
In co-imagining and co-creating a new intentional city in the clouds. ICIC. Come gather with us, the rest of the change makers from around the world. It's kind of like we're all here except for you.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, when I arrived in LAX, Los Angeles International Airport one time, I looked and there was, this was probably 11 years ago or so, when there was a Mexican-American mayor, I forget his name, but there was a poster of him smiling and it said, "Welcome to Los Angeles. With you here, now it's perfect."
I
Right?
like it.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Let's use something like that.
Yeah. Come join us. With you here, it will be perfect. Come join us. Come join the rest of us. The rest of us change makers. That way we're speaking to our audience. Come join the rest of us change makers in co-imagining. I'm just typing here. In co-imagining and co-creating the first intent. There we go, because it's got to be first. All right. In co-creating the first intentional city in the clouds.
And then parentheses ICIC.
That's it. ICIC.
You want to
And then you had before we create our cities on Earth.
I like that direction that it goes.
Yeah, exactly. And let me welcome Zachary Johnson. Welcome, Zachary. We are recording and we're having an amazing conversation about creating the first intentional city in the clouds. Welcome, Zachary. I'm going to pause recording for a second. All right. So we were saying, come join us. And then what was the next thing, Ananda or Claire, that was said?
Before we create.
Oh, there we go.
Before we recreate our cities on the Earth, let's first co-create a new model rooted in deep listening, co-creative, regenerative conversation, and
before we recreate our cities, what I'm writing here, before we recreate our cities, and then in parentheses, and countries on Earth, let us first co-create a new kind of city, a city of consciousness, a city of collective consciousness, a city of collective consciousness
Rooted in.
and radical transformation.
Okay.
Or a city rooted in collective consciousness and radical transformation with the intention of being the capital city of change making here on planet Earth.
Record that, please.
I'm typing it up.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see. A city rooted in okay, I just posted it. Before we recreate our cities and countries on Earth, let us first co-create a new kind of city, a city rooted in collective consciousness and radical transformation, with the intention of being the capital city of change making here on planet Earth.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Boom. You know, big and bold.
Come join the rest of us change makers in co-imagining. Now we were using co-creating too many times. Let's not use it here.
Yeah.
Come
Okay.
join the rest of us change makers in co-imagining the first intentional city in the clouds, ICIC. Before we recreate our cities and countries on Earth, let us first co-create a new kind of city, a city rooted in collective consciousness and radical transformation, with the intention of being the capital city of change making here on planet Earth. That's cool, but it doesn't state anywhere about the whole point is to unify ourselves and no more separation.
Okay. The whole point is to unify humanity around the benevolent transformation and caretaking of Mother Earth that is our birthright. I'm just free-forming here.
Yeah.
The whole point is to unify humanity around the benevolent transformation and caretaking of Mother Earth that is our birthright, and that is now urgently needed for us to
Step into action.
step
Collaborate.
into collaborative action.
Yeah, and then a really short sentence is, with you here, it's perfect.
With you here, it will be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like we're just waiting for you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So we're not mentioning the deep listening yet. We'll do that after.
I think we'll mention that once we get into the part of the classes we offer. And an introduction to that part.
You know, what we should probably do at this point is actually create a Google Doc, and then I can screen share it, and anyone can edit it.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just wanted to mention at the top of the hour, we'll have a bunch of people coming in, but then I just direct them to a breakout room, right?
Okay.
Anyway, that's how this works. And that's actually part of the intention of the conversation, which is now becoming ICIC. So this will become a regular thing in ICIC. People come, hey, how do I get to this? How do I get to that? You know, and then we kind of redirect people, right? So sort of, you know, so the entry point becomes also this hub. It becomes this intersection where people can then, you know, go to different places for different meetings. Anyway, just wanted to mention that. So don't. So let me go ahead and create a Google Doc. And I'll paste the link and invite everyone to edit, and then I'll screen share it so that we can get this going on. Let's see here.
That's the best way to do it.
Okay. No.
So I still want to put together a slideshow about this as our introduction.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Okay, so I'm going to call this ICIC invitation. Let me just see who's popping in the room here. Oh, Bob and Noel. By the way, Bob and Noel are going to be awesome collaborators and co-creators. In fact, by the way, this is actually a really great opportunity as people are popping in early. Why don't we practice what we're doing?
Yeah.
Say, hey, welcome, here's what we're doing. And then that way we get real-time feedback and
Yep.
additions. Is that cool?
Yeah.
So for the next 15 minutes, led by Zachary and Bob and Noel, let me just welcome Noel and Bob. Welcome, Noel and Bob. Welcome, Co-Creators Convergence. Hey, Bob, how you doing? You're
Good.
on
How are
mute.
you, Jamin?
Doing awesome, doing awesome. We're co-creating something really awesome and totally new here, which is we're co-creating the first. You've heard about intentional communities of this kind, that kind, the other. We are co-creating the first ever intentional city in the clouds. An intentional city in the clouds. Think The Empire Strikes Back. Lando Calrissian, that city in the clouds. Now, you're muted, Bob. You're muted.
And it's called ICIC.
I saw the email today. Very exciting.
Awesome. Anyway, I was just commenting that we would love to have you and Noel and Zachary and Karen, who's just coming into the room, co-create with us. I know you've got a meeting now, so I don't mean to divert you there. And Karen, welcome. And in fact, whenever you give the word, I'll create the breakout rooms. Karen, great to see you. I don't know if hey, Noel. I don't know if you saw the email I sent Karen. We're recording right now, by the way, and this is if everyone's cool with that, we're co-creating the first intentional city in the clouds by and for change makers, the change makers of the world. Yes, I'm talking to you. Yes, you.
In the clouds.
A city in the clouds, exactly. So it's called ICIC is the acronym, Intentional City in the Clouds. But part of it is it's a really cool acronym because when you get to ICIC and you really take it in, what's your reaction? I see, right? So anyway, we're co-creating it now, and we're in the process of wordsmithing. So feel free to hang with us for a few minutes before your meeting, or if you want to get an early start on your breakout room, like I said, whenever you give me the signal, I'll create your breakout room and send you all there.
Jamin, are you able to put us in room 1 today?
Absolutely.
Okay, because if you want to create that, I mean, I'll probably stay here a moment and get people over, but if Zachary wanted to hop over, our guest, he's going to be he's going to be talking about the power of love and how it heals.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Healing power of love tonight. So, and then I'll put a little something in the chat that says, that Zachary's in room 1 and Co-Creators Convergence. So that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, room 1 would be wonderful. So I've just co-created it. I've created it and sent you invitations there. So feel free to go there whenever you feel like it, or feel free to hang out here, wherever you want to be.
I enjoyed meeting y'all. I am going to go to the room. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
Zachary, you're welcome here
need
anytime, all the time. Zachary, you're welcome here. We're basically 24/7, and then certain times like today we have intense meetings and all that, but you're welcome to all of our meetings, Zachary, whenever you want. We'd love to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Zachary's Zachary's, what he's working on fits so well. He presented at the beloved Community Convergence, and it just fits right here with the conversation. So I have a feeling we'll see him at a press conference coming soon, next Thursday, maybe.
Well,
Awesome.
Well,
Awesome.
let's get through the night first.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, I'm gonna go to room 1. How about
Okay.
that?
Very good, Zachary. All right. We'll see you soon.
Did he need co-hosting ability?
Oh, he might need it. Hey, Zachary, stick around, please. I'm going to make you co-host before you go. Make co-host.
Yes,
Fungi.
thank you.
Okay.
And me
All right,
too.
Zachary, you're now co-host.
Oops.
And who else? Karen, I'm going to make you co-host. Bob and Noel, I'm going to make you co-host. I sound like a Texas cattle auctioneer. Going to make you co-host. Going to make you co-host.
And thanks for everyone's patience as we sort of jumped in and moved through the portal during your amazing conversation. Marco, I have so many things to talk to you about. I can't wait to connect with you. Thanks for that thumbs up there.
Not now.
All right, I'll see you guys. I'll be over in room 1.
All right, Karen. Thanks so much, sister. See you soon.
And I'll stay behind.
Hey,
Thanks,
baby.
Bob.
Oh, you're welcome.
Do I have to say move?
Or, and I'll go on the other computer.
Whatever you want to do.
All right. Welcome, sir. We're the breakout room is in room 1 tonight for the Co-Creators Convergence. So I'm going to go ahead and assign you to room 1. And that meeting is starting in 9 minutes. You're welcome to hang out here in the meantime or go to room 1 whenever you feel like it. Looks like there's a few other folks are already there in room 1. And it says Rev G, it looks like you're on mute, and that's okay. But if you want to say anything, feel free to unmute, and you should have an invitation to join breakout room 1 whenever you're ready. No hurry. There he goes. Okay. And by the way, in the future, here's what I'm envisioning. When we do have a bona fide architect meeting, et cetera, that would probably be in a breakout room. And ideally, we'd have, one of us, directing traffic from the campfire so that, but I mean, that's in the future. Right now, we have so few of those kinds of meetings that we haven't really taken the time to. Anyway, I'm just kind of apologizing for the interruptions in my own way.
Yeah, Jamin, also at 6 o'clock tonight, Shannon's Guy's room.
Oh, at 6 o'clock tonight. Okay. Yeah. And is that Our Heart's Garden or is that Gaia's?
I forget which one it is, to be honest.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Okay. So, oh yeah, I was creating a Google Doc.
I'm already on a Google Doc and I'm kind of editing here on my own.
Okay.
So I can share that with you.
As you wish. I can share the one I just created or you can share yours, whichever you prefer, Ananda.
Maybe go both ways.
Go both ways. No. We only want one Google Doc. Let's not have
okay.
both.
Oh, okay.
So shall I share mine or are you going to share yours?
Give me a second and I'll share mine because I've chopped it up. So my version is a little different than what you've got.
Sure.
And you've got the original, so.
And do you have everybody's email who's in the room now so you can give them invitations to edit? Give each of us invitations.
Oh, I don't have that.
Okay.
I'm just going to copy this over and put it in the chat. And then you can have, have both versions all together.
Would you rather I share my Google Doc then? Or
yeah,
do you still want to share?
Yeah, let me finish this and I'll put it over into the chat, and then you'll have everything all together, and then you can transfer it all over, and then we can pick and choose from each version which one we like. How's that sound?
Yep, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, welcome Tex. If you're here for the Co-Creators Convergence meeting, I'm sending you a link to that right now. And Bob, of course, you've already got a link, but I think you're hanging out here to welcome people as they come, which is totally good.
Yes, indeed. So I would, since I logged back in, Jamin, on a different machine, do I need to, oh, okay, I'll just let that hang there until I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that's right. I just gave you an invitation.
Thank you.
Okay. Sure, sure. Let's see. So I need to get Marco.
Yeah,
And
Tex is here for CCC, I'm sure.
Okay, yeah, I gave him an invitation. Welcome, Tex, and I sent you an invitation to join Breakout Room 1.
Hello, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Tex. How you doing?
Good, Kevin.
Awesome.
I'm here to attend the Healing Power of Love there with Zachary.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Do you see a link on your screen anywhere that says join Breakout Room 1?
Okay, yeah, I see that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good to see you, Tex.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. All right, I'm in the process of creating the invitations to the Google Doc.
Just a second. Let me move this over there. Give me a minute here.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamin, when you get a moment to make me
Yeah.
co-host, so you have to co-host me so I can be a co-host in the other room, correct?
Oh, yeah. Totally. Let me do that right now. Okay, you're co-host, Bob. All right, Annie Spade is joining. Let's see.
But you don't have to be. Basically, what we ask is, what's your gift to the city?
Annie is
welcome
hosting the CCC call tonight with Karen.
Oh, okay. So I'll make Annie, I'm making you co-host. Welcome, Annie. And I'm also giving you an invitation to Breakout Room 1, which is where the meeting is being held. Bob, what's the name of the meeting again? The Meaning of Love or something like that? You're on mute.
Yeah, the Power of Love. I don't know. It's a song from Back to the Future or something. I don't know.
Okay, The Power of Love.
No, let's see. Here it is. Some kind.
Don't take money. Don't take fame.
The healing power
Don't
of
need no
love.
credit cards to ride this train. Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
You know, we've had a 24,000-mile tour.
All right, Annie, you should have you're on mute, Annie, and that's okay. And I made you co-host, and you've got a link to join Breakout Room 1. Okay.
You've inspired me to use new language, new paradigms, new, new words.
Good.
So I'm picking apart the ones that are, kind of old hat by now and reinventing that.
Great. Okay, so I've just emailed you all an invitation to the Google Doc, and then what I'm going to do is
I thought you were going to wait till I added mine onto the chat room there. So we don't have two of them.
No, well, I thought here, let me clarify in a second. Welcome, Flo.
Hey, Flo.
Hello.
Flo's with us.
Sending you to room 1. I haven't. So Ananda, I haven't finalized anything. I've just created a blank Google document, and so I can put whatever you want me to put in there. Yes, welcome. So So please, nobody go to the Google Doc yet because there's nothing there
Oh,
to see.
I get it.
Yeah. And Ananda, in fact, since you're composing something in the Google Doc, you could just do a complete copy paste straight into the Google Doc I just sent you if you wanted
Okay.
to.
Okay.
Copy paste everything into there, and then I can
Okay.
screen share, and then I can edit, and in fact we can all edit simultaneously because we'll all
That
be
sounds
looking
like
at
fun.
the same thing. Mhm.
Okay. Give me a couple minutes here.
Yeah, no, take your time. Take your time.
All right. So I have something here to go on that let's see now. So let me think. I'll just copy this whole thing I just did. Copy that. And then do I go to my email to find that doc you sent me?
Yeah. Go to your email, and you'll have a link to it. Jamin is inviting you to be an editor of a Google Doc or whatever it's called.
Okay. And I click on where it says ICIC invitation.
That's
Probably.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. Mhm.
All right. And then I will paste what I have, which I think turned out to be beautiful with all of us collaborating together. So may I read it out loud?
Sure. Or I can screen share it, or you can screen share it, and then that way we can read as we.
Okay. Why don't you
Yeah.
screen share it?
Okay, happy to. Let me just take a look. Oh, great. I see what you've already put there. That's awesome. Okay, so here goes.
Now I'll come back to the
Screen sharing. And Marco, if you can, Marco, do you want me to make you host, Marco? Would that be easier? Because that way you could direct people to the breakout rooms easier. Yeah? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, making you host. And please make me co-host, Marco.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to screen share.
I am one for speaking succinctly and getting to the point. So this is what I came up with.
You should all be able to see my screen. And let me just see if I can get rid of this thing. Okay. All right.
I'd like to read it out loud so I can kind of hear
okay.
myself, if that's okay.
No, please, go for it.
So come join the rest of us change makers in co-creating the first intentional city in the clouds, ICIC. Before we recreate our cities and our countries on earth, let us first reinvent a new kind of city that makes sense to humanity, to all of humanity. A city rooted in collective consciousness and radical transformation. The intention is to become the capital city of change here on planet Earth. The whole point is to unify all future thinkers into one common virtual city and urgently answer the call to action. We need one source to protect and provide for our change makers. With you here, it will be perfect.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I imagine you just have notes at the bottom there, huh?
That's just something I didn't erase. Something we were working on, but I didn't use it.
The first sentence, you said co-creating, but you meant co-imagining, no?
Oh, did I?
Right? It says co-imagining up there. I don't know if you're reading what's on the screen.
Yeah.
Is that what you were doing?
Yeah,
okay.
But we used co-creating somewhere else, so I didn't want to use it in the first sentence too.
Right. So we wanted to keep the co-imagining. And then on the second paragraph or the second sentence, take away the apostrophe S from that, a new kind of city that makes sense. Oh, that's where the S goes after the make. Let us first reinvent a new kind of city that makes sense to humanity. It's just a little typo problem there. You
Can
see
I
it?
correct that from here? You have to do that, don't you, Damien?
Oh, no,
You have to-
you can, any of us can. You can just click on
Oh,
that,
it-
because you, remember,
okay.
yeah,
Oh.
just like you pasted all this in the page, you can, if you want, or I'm
Oh.
happy to do it.
No,
There you
mine
go.
won't
Yeah.
allow me to correct it.
Oh, yes, it will. Watch. Look, there you go.
No, it's not. I'm,
Oh,
I'm
is
like,
that
my-
Claire talking?
yeah, that's me.
Oh, okay.
My cursor is
Um,
on it. I can't change it.
Oh, wait, here, let me, so you would have to go into your email here. Let me share again, where Ananda is editing right now. What you would have to do is actually go into your email
Oh,
and click on the link in order to edit directly. Right now, you're just
No,
looking at a
it's
screen share.
okay. So she's correcting it.
Yeah, okay.
A city rooted in collective consciousness and radical transformation. I think change making should be capitalized.
I love editors. You want to follow me around?
Yep.
I'm a visionary and I write as fast as I can think. And so I usually don't miss anything. However, I need an editor because it never comes out the way it should be.
I'm not sure about the one source to protect and provide for our change makers. I don't think that's particularly clear. What's the one source?
Well, that's the point of this whole thing is we want to create one umbrella organization where where
Okay.
all funds can funnel through, where we have money to protect ourselves and we provide time and money to the change makers so they can get their work done. And we want to funnel everyone through the city so that we have, you know, regular monthly incomes to disperse out to these change makers that need help.
So maybe the word is resource.
Yeah.
One support system, or one supportive resource. I don't know. Source is such a word. It often means the divine. It means presence. It doesn't always clearly say what it means.
So how about we need one common resource to protect and provide our change makers? Does that sound better?
I'm wondering if one common resource for our change makers to turn to
Draw from.
to be given protection and provisions that they need.
Okay.
I don't know. That may be too many words, but one common.
Okay, I get where you're going. One common resource
For our change makers to turn to.
for our change makers
To tap into. Or to turn in.
tap into
For their protection and provisions, or whatever. Is that the right word?
There you go, James. There we go. Yeah, I love to co-create this way with the
Change makers
people
to
jumping in, editing together.
protection.
Yeah, me too.
For their support and protection. And one and, not two ands. There you go. That's good.
So do you get it from this that what we're doing is we're putting everybody together in the same funnel and it's for everyone to draw from? No more separation. How about we say something like that in the beginning? Before we continue to be separated, let us reinvent a new kind of city that makes sense to all humanity.
in our own little corners.
Before we continue to be separate in our cities and countries on earth, let us first reinvent a new kind of city that makes sense to all of humanity.
Yeah, fix the that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Or how about before we can end the separation
Oh,
that
love it.
plagues?
Oh, I love it.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Go ahead and type that in.
Okay. Before we
Can and
end the separation which plagues our cities and countries, we can get rid of on Earth because we know
Yeah.
what planet we're talking about.
And we
Before
say
we
earth
can-
later on.
Okay. Let us first reinvent a new kind of city.
that unifies all of humanity.
Oh, there we go.
That unifies all of humanity in conversation and co-creation.
Good.
Well, that's too much.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that unifies all of humanity.
A city rooted in collective consciousness and radical transformation.
Just
with the intention of being the capital city of change making here on planet Earth. How about that?
Yeah.
you don't need the capital A on a city. It's going to be a small
Oh, thank
A.
you. Thank you.
What about radical kindness instead of radical transformation?
Yeah. Both of those words are kind of old. I was thinking of getting more to the point. The point of this whole thing is we want to create one funnel so that all money and all time comes through the funnel, and all of these change makers out there can get help instead of everybody out trying to do their own fundraising.
Collective sharing.
Where are we? So a
A
city,
city
rooted in, what's it rooted in?
Commitment.
A city rooted in a shared commitment to save, heal, and transform life on Earth.
I like that. Let's put it in there, see how it sounds.
In a shared commitment to save, heal, and transform life on Earth, period.
Yeah.
then
Collective
we just
consciousness and radical transformation have been used over and over and over and over.
By the way, what I often do when I delete a whole section like that is I'll cut and paste it, and then I create here down below something I call a scrap heap.
Oh,
And
good.
then
Oh, that's
we can
clever.
always go back to the junk pile.
Yeah. Good point.
Oh, what happened to it?
Sorry. There we go.
Okay.
The whole point of this unique design is to unify all future thinkers into one common virtual city and urgently answer the call to action.
How about ICIC is being designed to unite all change makers.
Yeah, I like that.
Is being designed. Okay, so ICIC is being designed to unite or unify or unite.
Well, we've
Somebody-
already said unifies up above, so
How about unite or bring together?
bring together.
Togetherness is a beautiful thing. To bring together all change makers.
I like future thinkers here because we mentioned change makers several times.
Ah, okay,
Yeah, we did up above. I like future thinkers too.
okay. ICIC is being designed to bring together all future thinkers in one common virtual city. To
Two.
urgently, yeah, go ahead.
Urgently answer the call to intentional action.
The call to radically transform life on Earth. To urgently answer the call to radically transform life on Earth.
Well, you just said that up above.
No, he took
Okay.
that out.
The heal and transform life on Earth before
Oh,
we
yeah,
can
he
end
said that.
separation. That's there.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's
like
true.
that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. ICIC is being designed to bring together all future thinkers in one common virtual city for collective, how about for collective action? For collective coordination and action.
Urgent action.
To urgently respond to the needs of life on Earth.
We don't want to make it too flowery. We've got a lot of techie people that are going to come in here and be a part of this too, you know. We want them in here mainly.
One common virtual city. Urgent.
I like that virtual city in there because before this, they may not have gotten it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, here. ICC is currently being designed by all future thinkers.
But it's being designed to bring together all future
yeah,
thinkers.
You're right. To bring together the future thinkers in one common virtual city. That could be a period there.
Well, it could be to respond to the urgent needs to change the world. To respond to the urgent needs change our world's priorities.
The urgent needs of our world. How about just the urgent needs of our world?
Yeah, okay.
We all know what they are.
We need one common resource.
How about I put in one shared space? We need one common space. How about that?
How about we are offering one shared space?
We are creating.
Here.
We are creating a singular shared space. A singular shared space.
And techie people might think that looks like a hack lab or something.
Yeah.
I see.
We are offering a home here in our Zoom space. We are offering a home.
Oh yeah, let's use the word zoomology somewhere in here.
We are offering a welcoming home.
That's too flowery.
Okay,
for technical people.
We are offering here in the Zoom.
We could use
Oh.
the word zoomosphere.
Yeah,
Or
Right.
offering here in the Zoomosphere.
currently being designed to bring together all future thinkers in one common virtual city in the Zoomosphere. Located in the Zoomosphere, period. Or
By the
wait,
way, Ananda, I don't see any typing from you. Are you still typing? No, no worries if you're not. I just wanted to make sure
yeah, I
you're
just
not.
put in the word currently under ICIC is
Oh, I see.
currently.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
I see. Let me just type something else to see if you're reading
No,
me.
no. Now I see.
Okay.
I see. ICIC is currently being designed to bring together all. Why don't we read it together?
Zachary,
top to
you're all
bottom?
set. You're co-host now, so we can put you back in a breakout room.
Okay, but thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt the meeting.
No problem. You're no interruption at all,
it's
Zachary.
all good.
Oops, what happened to the,
There you go.
okay.
Sorry, I had to mute my microphone, so now I'm going back to screen share, and here we go. Okay, I'm back.
I thought we were asking people to be the architectures of this virtual city. And this sounds like it's already been designed. It's currently.
This is the
Right.
invitation to get everybody to come to our 3 breakout rooms called Architecture, Welcoming,
Oh,
and Open. This
okay.
isn't introducing those classes yet. We're just introducing our concept.
Uh-huh.
And it says, come join the rest of us change makers in co-imagining the first
Right.
intentional city. So we're
Right.
imagining it. And then we make the case for it in the next paragraph before we can end the separate. In fact, I'd like to offer to read the whole thing top to bottom, or if somebody else wants to, please go ahead.
Yeah, why don't you read it top to bottom?
Okay, great. The invitation. Come join the rest of us change makers in co-imagining the first intentional city in the clouds, ICIC. Before we can end the separation which plagues our cities and countries, let us first reinvent a new kind of city that unifies all of humanity, or how about to unify all of humanity?
Okay.
Because it's not doing it yet. This is the aspirational goal, to unify all of humanity. A city rooted in a shared commitment to save, heal, and transform life on Earth.
Here, I've got a shortcut for you.
Yeah, go for it.
A virtual city located in a Zoomosphere. Rooted in a shared commitment to save and heal the Earth. That make the next sentence much easier.
A virtual city in the Zoomosphere rooted in a shared commitment to save, heal, and transform life on Earth through, how about through, conversation, through conversation first, followed by collective action.
Yeah, let's put it in there, see how it feels.
Through conversation and shared and collective sense making.
Yeah, I like that. Collective sense making.
First, followed by collective action.
There we go. I like that. Would you read that whole sentence again, please?
Yes.
You want to say collaborative instead of collective, so you don't have to repeat collective twice?
Good idea. Let's see. I'm just looking to see where we had collective first.
Through conversation and collective sense making, followed by collaborative action. How about that?
Followed by collaborative action. Yeah. Because the sense making really needs to be collective.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Followed by coordinated collaborative action, we could say. Or is that too much? Probably.
Well, we're already talking about unity, which is coordinated.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see.
Just go up from the top.
Okay. Come join the rest of us change makers in co-imagining the first intentional city in the clouds, ICIC. Before we can end the separation which plagues our cities and countries, let us first reinvent a new kind of city to unify all of humanity. A virtual city in the Zoomosphere, rooted in a shared commitment to save, heal, and transform life on Earth through conversation and collective sense-making first, followed by collaborative action.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it.
Very good.
And then we could say, ICIC is currently being designed to accomplish exactly that. Come join us, right?
Yep.
To accomplish exactly that. Come join us in making this dream a reality. And then I think, and then anything else. Yeah.
Our space will offer you all the support and protection you need. Something like that.
Or how about our vision, which is evolving and needs your input, which is evolving rapidly and needs your input. Let them feel needed, right? Includes providing community support and shared resources.
That's good.
Perfect. For all change makers, to become collectively brilliant together.
Yeah, now we're on fire.
All drawing upon the urgently needed public good of the massive collective of us.
Oh, that's too much.
Okay. All drawing upon this urgently needed public good.
Yep.
Okay.
The urgently needed public good of ICIC.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that pretty much does it. I don't know if we need the next paragraph after that. So why don't we read top to bottom? I think this reading is a really good exercise.
That's the way I do it. I go back and read from the beginning all the time.
I'll read it.
Okay.
Thank you. Go for it.
Come join the rest of us change makers in co-imagining the first intentional city in the clouds, ICIC. Before we can end the separation which plagues our cities and countries, let us first reinvent a new kind of city to unify all of humanity. A virtual city in the Zoomosphere, rooted in a shared commitment to save, heal, and transform life on Earth through conversation and collective sense-making first, followed by collaborative action. ICIC is currently being designed to accomplish exactly that. Come join us in making this dream a reality. Our vision, which is evolving rapidly and needs your input, includes providing community support and shared resources for all change makers to become collectively brilliant together, all drawing upon the urgently needed public good of ICIC.
Yeah, I
There's
think
two
that does it.
in the second sentence. There's 2 times when you say first. Let us first reinvent a new kind of city. And then the last part of the sentence ends up collective sense making first. Do we want both of those?
How about we can just take out this first, take out the second first.
Yeah, I think so.
Boom. Good.
I would like to add, after it says, come join us in making this dream a reality, put down there with you here. It will be perfect.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because that says it all. That says it all.
We were going to end with that, but. Oh, okay. So we'll end with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of
With you
putting
here,
it
it will
after
be-
come join us and making this a reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the last
Good.
powerful punch right there. With you here,
Yeah.
it will be
Yes.
perfect.
With you here, it will be perfect.
I like it.
I like it too.
Boy.
I love the power of wordsmithing together.
Wonderful
Oh my God.
way to write something.
Well, this is collective intelligence.
I
And what
like
could be more
it.
fun? There's no more
Yeah.
work. There's just fun,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, we should put that in here somewhere. Fun.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. A fun virtual city.
Come join the rest of us change makers in co-imagining the first fun, intentional city in the clouds.
First fun loving.
Or we could just put, or how about this at the very end? And it is so much fun, right?
Yeah.
And it will be so much fun.
No, it is. And it is so
Okay.
much fun, right? And then below that, we can put, schedule of meetings. And then we say, architecting the ICIC,
There you go.
El Puente, the bridge to deep listening.
I'm
and
loving
I've
it.
got more. Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Okay,
what's the
so
last
shall I
one?
just
Open conversation. And then there's a sign up sheet or something.
Or
There you
there's
go.
some kind of a contact, or there's something to do.
Contact information for them
Give
to
them
write
something
in.
to do from here. Wow, this sounds
Right.
good.
Give them something to do.
Click-
Gotcha. Very
You
good.
know, click link here, or I don't know, something to do.
Anyway,
Click here to join.
That's it. Click here to join. Yeah. Yeah, and then it'll just be a contact form that they can fill out.
Should intentional communities in the clouds be capitalized on the first sentence?
Oh, going back up here. Yeah, sure. There you go. That's it. And then I, and then clouds. I for in should be capitalized.
Yes,
but
right.
Not the D. Yeah. Of course. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to the bottom, and then we can put schedule of upcoming meetings.
Yeah. You might want to just put a little note in there. The press release has now become the ICIC platform, or some place to notify all of our fans.
Yeah. Well, actually, the thing is, it's not just the press conference, but also the block party, the press conference, and in fact, the conversation are all moving to, or we could put in at the bottom, join the migration to ICIC. Whatever meetings you are holding, please consider moving all of your operations. Please consider relocating or something like that.
Yeah. Let's get to that in a minute, but right now we'll put down the schedules. We were on that path. But I was just saying, just as a note to everyone, kind of let them know about the migration.
Yeah, I could put that at the end. So click here to join, and then maybe below that, it could be note, join the migration. For example, the following venues, the following venues are relocating or have relocated.
Yeah, have relocated to ICIC.
Something like that. Okay, so we can do that at the end, but right now let's do the schedule because that's a key part. We have let's get the wordsmithing right, and then we can figure out the days and times.
I'm loving this, you guys. This is called.
I am loving it
This is
too.
my
This is
element
just
as a facilitator. This is called the action stuff. This is what we call success. Otherwise, it's just a nice big long brainstorm. So the action is the key.
And by the way, here's what I'm thinking. Underneath El Puente, the bridge to deep listening, we could have kind of a subtext here that would say, and a welcoming, I'll take out the there, and a welcoming bridge, the bridge, and a welcoming bridge to ICIC for all people around the world, or something like that. And then similarly, architecting the ICIC could have a subtext underneath it that says, join us in co-imagining and co-architecting the new metropolis, or something like that. You know, this our new virtual metropolis. Our new metropolis in the clouds.
Yeah.
And then finally the campfire. Come here to hang out with like-minded and like-hearted.
Yep, you read my mind.
I read your heart.
That's right, you read my heart.
And like-hearted folks. Let's make it folksy. You know, you don't need a PhD in urban planning. Come here to hang out with like-minded and like-hearted folks, and just enjoy whatever topics come up and help welcome
each
new
other.
folks. Yeah, and help welcome each other to the new world. To our new world.
Now, welcome, Dennis. You should see your invitation for Breakout Room 1, where co-creators is meeting tonight. You're on mute.
To our ever new world, to our ever new renewing world. Something about it continually renewing itself.
Yeah, I like that.
To our new regenerative world, or a holistically regenerative world, or just regenerative world.
On the note, you might want to say, please note the change of venue.
Let's see, is that where is that, above or below?
Below.
No, please note. Okay.
That's good.
Please note, many of us are migrating our communities, venues, and events to ICIC. It is easy. It's easy and it's easy to do. It is easy and enriching to do so. You know, join the migration to the friendliest, most loving and transformational city on and in this case above.
I love it. Little humor there.
Yeah. You know, for example, the following venues have relocated to ICIC. And then, you know what we could do? You know, click here to download the migration kit or something like that. It could just be a PDF, right? But we could have a migration kit, right? Or the migration planning, right?
We have to compose that, all right?
Toolkit. Oh yeah. And then we'll just, you know, but we don't have to put that for starters. I'm just thinking ahead a little bit.
You need to be clear about the conversation.cc and the press release and the open houses and all of those things are now ICIC.
Right. I'll just put here the following communities and venues have relocated to ICIC. The conversation.cc, or I'll just put the conversation, and then I'll here, let me just do it and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. I need to get the link for that. So bear with me while I do that over here. I'm just going to change tabs, but just for a second. Okay.
So Ananda, I'm putting your email into my contact list on my phone, and it starts with a capital A, right?
My name or my
Yes.
email address?
Yeah. Your email.
Oh, my email is futureworldcitizen2020.
Oh, it doesn't have your name on it. Okay. That's what I had just put there, I guess. You might have to change it to 2021 now. What's your last name?
My author last name is Reeves, R-E-E-V-E-S.
Oh yeah, that's right.
If you want to write me a check, it's a different name.
Do you want to give me your phone number?
Yes, please. 541
Uh-huh.
285
Right.
7329.
Okay.
Do you text?
Yeah, I do.
Texting is the best way to get a hold of me because sometimes I'm with a client and
yeah, I love texting. I'm addicted to it.
Well, it's part of the conspiracy theory, you know. They're going to get us all addicted to technology, and then we're going to be so popular in our ICIC city that will far surpass anything that anyone wants to do to block us.
That's it.
That's one reason why we need to urgently take care of ourselves and create our own, you know, entity, because who's taking care of us? You know, I'm trying to say, I mean, at any time, the technology can change on us to to the point where we can't communicate with each other or whatever. That's why we need to take our own community in our own hands. That's the point of this whole thing. So we need to take care of our own. We need to have our own money. We need to have our own resources, our own time, our own technology.
Well, we can also create our own currencies, actually. Our own
That's another one I was
cryptocurrencies.
going to just mention that. We need to create our own currency. We need to create our own Facebook, our own, our web hosting, everything. It needs to belong to us.
Yeah.
That's the point of this whole thing. You got it. The very last thing.
Okay, did you want me to put Future Now Radio?
Yeah.
Future Now Radio. And then what's the URL, please?
FutureNowRadio.com.
Oh, that's the website?
That's my website for the radio station, yeah.
Uh-huh. FutureNowRadio.com.
Mm-hmm. I want to put Damon on there.
I can't wait.
I know, right? We're filled up through February, though.
Oh, good for you.
No, right?
Good for you.
It is good, but it's not good. We only have one editor and 2 hosts. That's all we have left. We had 76 people jump in when they all said, yeah, let's start a radio station. And there's 2 of us left. And the sad thing is we lost people because of money. One guy became our editor and he just got so engrossed in it and he loved it so much. He was putting all of his time into that and he needed to go back to make money for his family. And so, and then the group came up with this conversation about alternative ways to do the money thing, and the whole money thing tore us apart. And so it's like, wait, we need to invent an ICIC so there's sources for me to go to and get what I need to keep the radio station going. Because at first when we had 76 people, this is a breeze. Everybody can just have their little part. We can all work together and it'll be great. But we had 2 conversations around the issue of money and everybody dropped out. Because it was primarily based on the resource-based economy population of people that want to move towards a money-free society. So the whole money conversation tore us all apart, just like it does in the world. Money rips us apart. It does not unify us. I know.
It absolutely does. And in fact, coming from here, why don't I'm going to stop sharing for a minute just so we can kind of see each other and hang out again, and then we can go back to that. It's good to do this from time to time. I come from the world of technology, et cetera, and at various times I've started startup companies, and we just assumed we had to go through this money process and divvying up the pie and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it separates us
every time.
And every single time. And at the end of that, it's almost like you don't even want to do it anymore. You're so disgusted with yourself and with everyone else.
That's what happened with my Future Now Radio. That's why we only have 2 people left, is that everybody got disgusted about the disgusting conversation about money. The unity was no longer there. The excitement for the radio station was no longer there. People were just pissed off about money, and we tried to think of different ways. We had so here's an example. We had an investor. Actually, I knew him. He was a friend of mine. He's 86 years old. He's a wealthy man. He has way too much, and he loves to go around and support things, but he loves to do it unanimously. He doesn't want people to know who he is. He doesn't want any attention brought to him. He doesn't want any glory, any thank you, nothing. He just loves to support good stuff. So
you mean anonymously?
Anonymous.
Where is he? Is he in Canada? Are you in Canada?
No, he's in the US. So the point was, he offered to pay the salaries of the people starting the radio station.
Oh, wow.
And he thought that it was very important that we do this work, that we unify all the change makers. He thought that was so important. And now actually this is what we're doing again right here.
Wow. Where is he?
Well, just let me finish. So he came in and he offered to pay a base salary of everyone who was working full time with the radio station. And most of the people couldn't accept that. So we shot ourselves in the foot by not allowing this money to come to us, because they were all about, oh, well, I have to know this, everything has to be transparent. And, you know, I don't trust, you know, this, I don't, you know, blah. Anyway, the point was they could have had their salaries paid for while we launched the radio station, but they wouldn't settle for it because, you know, a lot of them were anti-money and scarcity thinking, and they wanted everything transparent. They had to know who their donor was. And I says, he doesn't want to be known. He just wants to pay your salary. Well, you know, what happens if I quit my job and pay this? All this scarcity and fear and crap shit came up. I says, he's just trying to give you a gift, man. He thinks it's very important that you don't have to worry about how your rent or your utilities are paid for. The only work you need to do is this work of uniting the change makers. That's the most important thing on the planet right now. And they couldn't accept it. They were so tied into their corporate jobs and thinking that the only place in the world is where money, the only place money comes from is my paycheck, that I live from paycheck to paycheck. And they couldn't let go of it enough to receive a salary from this guy. And they says, well, you know, well, how's he going to pay us? And I says, well, he'll just, you know, he'll just pay your mortgage. You know, he'll just pay your electric bill. And he's done this for tons of organizations around the world. But, you know, they couldn't accept that. There was just too much fear and scarcity in the whole thing. They had the chance to let go of the money and create an income for themselves where they do the most valuable work on the planet, and they couldn't take it in. So we lost everybody. And I had to turn around and tell my investor friend,
oh my God, that's impressive.
They don't want your money.
Wow.
He says, well, I don't want to be exposed. I don't want any of that. I just want to, you know, if they want me to just, if they don't want to know, if they don't want to receive a direct deposit from me, then just, you know, I'll pay their mortgage. Who's their electric company? I'll just pay their bills, you know. And it didn't happen. And yet we were this close to having a money-free society right there in that little example.
Well, let's bring him on.
Well, he's gone now.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it's a funny thing is he died right after this whole thing. I think that,
wow.
Well, anyway, the point was that it was a beautiful gesture and the people could not accept it because we're too tied up into fear and scarcity about money. So I've got a long way to go.
I have to go soon. I can't sit any longer, and it's getting to be too long now.
Me too.
Is there any kind of timing or schedule or that you're going to be sending out? Is it always like 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock on Thursdays or whatever?
Yeah, the timing discussion is what we need to have next.
Right.
Can we wrap that up real quick and then just call it quits after that step is complete?
That sounds great.
Let's just nail it out there, and even if it doesn't make sense, it's a start.
You want me to screen share it?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have, so the 3 days of the week that I am, you know, that I block off to basically be here to do this, what is now this.
And God bless you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you. Are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Now, Friday is tomorrow. We have the block party tomorrow. That starts at 7 a.m. Pacific time, but from 7 to 9 a.m. and from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific time, we have food healers, which is a really super awesome thing. And then, so I am totally flexible from basically 9 a.m. through, you know, mid-afternoon-ish, at which point I'll need a break myself for this. So we could do, you know, architecting the ICIC and El Puente. I think El Puente could also be a good sort of evening kind of venue, and I'll talk with Jimena and others to see when they might be available to, you know, to participate in that.
Ooh, Michael.
Oh, Michael Gaia is back.
You're not talking about Friday only, are you?
No. No, I'm just talking about tomorrow specifically, since tomorrow is our next chance to meet. Hey, welcome back, Michael. We're screen sharing. In fact, let me get off screen share just so we can talk timing and whatnot. We're heading towards wrapping up pretty soon, Michael. We're just focusing on dates and calendaring right now for
I have a suggestion that we give it a week to send out the emails to all of our friends and, you know, so let's start next week.
Okay.
Let's
Now,
keep everything as it is now.
Now, okay, good. Now we do have a meeting tomorrow scheduled for 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon Central time, which was the original meeting for the conference, Money Free Society, et cetera. Is that still on, Ananda?
I would have to talk to Matthew about that. Not
I mean,
sure.
I'm happy to host it here if we wanted to do it here.
Yeah, we should host it here.
Okay, so will you contact all your people and say, hey, the meeting is still on, but the venue is changing, and then just put the link to this Zoom room there?
Mhm.
Okay, so shall we do it from 10 a.m. tomorrow until what, 2 p.m.? I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
Yeah, 10 to 2 tomorrow.
10 to 2. Okay. So
And that's
Friday,
for the
10 to
architect?
Yeah, for architecting the ICIC is really the big one right now. El Puente, like that could be kind of more an afternoon, evening, kind of more casual thing, but the architecting is the big thing right now.
Yeah.
So we could just say Friday, generally Fridays from 10 to 2.
Okay.
And Thursdays from 11 to 5.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then Tuesdays, also from 11 to 5, I would propose.
Okay.
So 6 hours, 6 hours, and 4 hours. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 hours, Fridays, 4 hours.
Yep.
So that gives us 16 hours per week in which to co-create this and invite our co-creator friends to join us. And so shall I send out what we just co-created to my whole email list tomorrow and say, hey, here's a new thing. And we're okay. Very good.
And then each of us can send it out to our own network as well.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
Send it to us, but I can't do all those hours. You aren't expecting
No.
us to do all those hours,
I'm not. No one's expecting you or anyone other than myself to be
And
there
me.
for all the.
I'll be there.
Awesome, Ananda.
Anytime you're
Okay,
there,
so
I'm there.
Okay, we got our 2 co-anchors for 16
Great.
hours
Good
a
for
week.
you.
Now we got some serious engine room here and some
Wow.
serious fuel in the tank. Claire, whenever you're here, it's a blessing.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, and likewise for Kate. Oh, Shannon's here. She's going to be starting her meeting now in a breakout room, which will probably be breakout room 2. Let me just take a moment to welcome Shannon. Welcome, sister. How you doing?
Very well, Jamin. How are you?
Great. We've been jamming for
a while.
For 7 hours to be precise, minus a little breaking.
You know, this stuff gets so exciting, we lose track of time. And really, isn't that the very best way of being alive, when you're not attached to the clock?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Or the money.
Or the money.
Yeah, we want to get rid of the money. It always divides everybody. So, okay. I'm gonna chime out while these new people come in. Michael, love you. Wait till you see what we co-created. You are going to be blown away. And I'd love to have your input on it coming from a technical perspective, but this is what we got for starters. So there you go.
I love that,
All right, Ananda, so we'll see you
and I don't want her to go. I just want to give her a little bit of good news.
What?
I will let you go right after the good news, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I just got a response from my the local food policy council that they're interested in the Our Heart Gardens idea.
Look at you manifesting, girlfriend. I'm just saying, keep on that manifesting. You see, you know what, you guys, here's the thing. There's so much energy coaguling around this whole thing. The world is not going to be able to resist us in anything that we want or need. I'm just saying.
We have to realize that it is all falling into place and there is no
Yes.
reason to panic.
No, we don't need
No
panic.
reason to panic. Just time to respond.
You go for it, girlfriend.
You
I'm going to
bet.
check out. Michael, love you. Shannon, Marco, love you, Marco. Thank you,
See you
Jamin,
soon,
for just being
Amanda.
such a trooper.
Yeah.
I'm going
Thank
to check
you.
out.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, right here in this Zoom room.
Okay, then.
And
Thank you.
tell all your
Bye-bye.
friends. Tell all your friends. Okay.
And
Thanks so much.
And that's the Moneyless Society one, right?
That's right. And particularly anyone you've sent the other Zoom link to, you need to tell them that it's changed and this is the new one.
All right.
Moneyless, are we talking seeds or?
No, this is the Moneyless Society that started this whole thing around, co-collaborating and all that. They were on the first call. Anyway, see you guys later. Love you. Bye.
Love you, Ananda. See you soon. Take care.
Catherine, did you need to get back into the breakout room? You're muted.
I
Rick?
see no reason why not.
All righty, continuing recording, and let me screen share this Google Doc that's about to become an invitation that we were just co-editing right now. And it's an invitation to join ICIC. Let me just read it. Come join the rest of us changemakers in co-imagining the first intentional city in the clouds, ICIC. Before we can end the separation which plagues our cities and countries, let us first reinvent a new kind of city to unify all of humanity. A virtual city in the Zoomosphere, rooted in a shared commitment to save, heal, and transform life on Earth through conversation and collective sense-making, followed by collaborative action. ICIC is currently being designed to accomplish exactly that. Come join us in making this dream a reality. Our vision, which is evolving rapidly and needs your input, includes providing community, support, and shared resources for all change makers to become collectively brilliant together, all drawing upon the urgently needed public good of ICIC. With you here, it will be perfect, and it is so much fun. And we've got a schedule of upcoming meetings. We haven't put in the dates and times yet. I'll cover that in a second, but the three classes of meetings, we have Architecting the ICIC. Join us in co-imagining and co-architecting our new metropolis in the clouds. El Puente, the bridge to deep listening, and a welcoming bridge to ICIC for all people around the world. And the Campfire, come here to hang out with like-minded and like-hearted folks and just enjoy whatever topics come up and help welcome each other to our new regenerative world. And we're going to have a contact form. And then please note, many of us are migrating our communities, venues, and events to ICIC. It is easy and enriching to do so. Join the migration to the friendliest, most loving, and transformational city on, and in this case above, Earth. The following communities and venues have relocated to ICIC. I'm going to put have already relocated. Future Now Radio, The Conversation, The Press Conference, Radish, and the Collective Intelligence Block Party. And then we're going to have a PDF. Click here to download the migration planning toolkit, something like that. Anyway, that's what we just drafted at the tail end of our meeting.
Well, you haven't mentioned anything about pioneers.
Pioneers, right. Well, we just put change makers.
Oh, I know. And we've heard a lot about change makers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason I mentioned pioneers, Jamin,
Mhm.
is because what you're describing here is what has naturally emerged through what I'm doing. I went through a period of time with struggles with technology and websites and whatnot. And what I ended up doing was creating a Google Doc called A Different Place. And for me, this is part of one of the structures, perhaps, within ICIC. And this is very much in alignment with the global network that is to embrace the earth. I do believe that we are collectively coming to the points where this is all going to fall into place. And I see Joan is here. And so I'm going to ask if you wouldn't mind, put Joan and I away in a breakout room. And
Sure.
I will let you dream on about a different place.